Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. We're seeing North American stock futures back in negative territory today after late day sell-off yesterday that kind of took things back to basically break even. We did end slightly lower as far as tech stocks are concerned yesterday, but all markets in the red this morning for the first time this week. We've had quite the week. This comes after some contradicting comments, to say the least, from U.S. President Trump yesterday, who said late on Wednesday that a vaccine or possible viable vaccine for distribution could be ready as soon as October. That contradicted the CDC, who said earlier in the day on Wednesday that a vaccine was still 6 to 9 months away. Stocks, as I mentioned, a little changed at the end of the day. The NASDAQ was in negative territory as investors were kind of reassessing the Fed's latest comments on policy as well. We have vaccine-related names back in play again this morning. A little bit of news on Moderna. We have Sorrento back to the upside as well. News surrounding Sorrento. There's Eli Lilly, who's teaming up with Amgen. We'll talk about that. To manufacture some treatments, possible treatments for COVID patients. And Eastman Kodak shares back on the move again this morning as well. Lots to look at this morning. It's Thursday, September 17th, 2020. TraderTV.live starts now. Hey, there we go. Look at, negative numbers right across the board as far as Asian markets are concerned from the overnight session. Let's flip over to Europe and see how things are looking. More red here throughout the European landscape. Italy leading the way to the downside there, 1.4%. Let's shift over to North America and see more negativity. Yeah, look at the NASDAQ, 2.5% already to the downside for the NASDAQ, Dow, and S&P 500 also big-time negativity coming in this morning. Bitcoin also 1.8% to the downside. Look at crude and gold at the bottom there also in negative territory. We've enjoyed quite the rally, guys. Good morning throughout the week so far. First day to the downside. I guess we're a little bit extended here overall for the market, so maybe a little overdue as far as some profit taking.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been saying that for a bit, that we've been a bit overheated here, and I'm just surprised at how far a lot of these stocks are falling today, but the NASDAQ's going to open up almost down 3%, like you just said there. So we had a 550-point turnaround as of 2 p.m. yesterday on the Dow. Thank you to Fed Powell for that one. But look, I don't know what everyone expected. I mean, we know what's going to happen here. They're not going to be raising rates at least until 2023 right now. So be it, and we move forward, Neil.
Yeah, it is what it is, right? And, let it snow, guys. Snowflake, of course, the IPO yesterday. We did leave you debuting or talking a lot about this one, biggest software IPO. And 120 open, 120 IPO price, 240 open, got above 300. That's absolutely right. Got to 320 here. It's back down to like 230, and that looks like a sharp drop-off, but that's still 2x if you were fortunate enough to get in at 120. We're definitely going to be looking at this one today. I think from a revenue standpoint, it was like IMMU and Nikola, and there was a third one, of the only stocks on the NYSE. I think even in the NASDAQ as well, that are more expensive from a revenue per share basis. It's just one of those crazy high flyers. We're going to be trading it today again, just because it's going to be active. There's no way getting around it.
Yeah, set to open lower there as we saw for Snowflake, but what a move that was right at the open. It's a shame we could not show it on the show because it was just after 12 o'clock. Lots to talk about this morning. It's going to be a busy show, to say the least. Brand new educational video coming your way a little bit later on, how you can simplify your trading. We'll give you a whole bunch of tips and tricks as to, get rid of all those indicators and just look at what the market is at the core, which is price and price movement and volume. So Valeria will have the link for you coming up a little bit later on. One more thing to talk about, guys. We're very, very excited. Coming up at 11:45 this morning. Make sure you stick around. Liquid Media, Joshua Jackson and Daniel Cruz going to be stopping by to tell us about Liquid Media and some developments they've had just this week. Big announcement coming from them coming up a little bit later on, so stay around for that as well. Let's go over to the desk and say good morning to Valeria.
Good morning, Brandon, and hello, traders. Thank you for joining us today, and let's have a wonderful trading morning together. Please be kind, share the link with your friends, subscribe to this channel, and of course, smash the like button. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, let's indeed get it started. Before we do, let's jump in to see how traders fared here at Day Trade the World yesterday. Big numbers worth having a look at here. Top 10 traders from Day Trade the World yesterday. You can see mostly U.S. numbers here, $41,000. NASDAQ in New York, more five figures here. You got to go all the way down to number 5 before you get into Europe. $8,000 coming out of Europe, 7,600, 7,500 as well. More U.S. connection there. So nice day once again for traders here at Day Trade the World. Let's have a look at what is coming up or what is moving around in the pre-market, I should say, this morning. If you haven't done so yet, guys, sign up for the watch list. We do this every single morning between 9 a.m. and 9:30. Join us and follow along as we talk about all the stocks that are moving around in the pre-market. The first one, Neil touched on a little bit there already. Snowflake, the big IPO yesterday, huge move. It was so impressive to see that thing above $300. Guys, we sat here and kind of wondered what the reaction was going to be. I mean, we're talking about it throughout the show, how it was indicating higher and higher and higher and higher, and ended up opening, I think it was around that 240 mark.
Yeah, jaw drop was basically, honestly, that was the reaction. I can't remember the last time that I saw, and I do remember the last time. Never seen an IPO that big, and then literally minutes after it opens up, it instantly halting up over 10% to the upside, 275, and then you open up higher, and then it had this huge move to 320. So, I over $200, I wasn't willing to buy into it off of the open, so I didn't do that. But when I actually saw it start to roll over and it retook 300, I had what was a good trade into the short side, I thought. But then I used a stop order, which is probably not the best idea, and I got wicked out. I took $6 out of it and then went to trail the rest of it, which literally I put the trail in, and then there was like one tick to the upside. The spread opened up, and then boom, I was out flat, and then had to watch it flush. So it was insane trading in the first few minutes. After it settled down, probably a little bit better, especially if you somehow caught that secondary move at the bottom when it broke like 255 and headed down to 240. But we're watching it today. Obviously, yesterday's low, 231. We're going to be watching that. It's literally a couple of dollars away from that price. We can actually short this one for us here at Day Trade the World, 6 cents a share, so we can get involved in that. To the upside, round number 250, I think should be some resistance as well.
To me, this was an easier trade. Look, the short on Snowflake was great as well, or the long right off the open. But what I wound up doing with Frog as well is, as soon as we cracked this IPO open price of 71 yesterday, I was short. So we waited for this to happen all the way up to 77. Then as soon as it broke the IPO price, we shorted it. And needless to say, hit it hard. So there we go. So JFrog yesterday, big trade. Now you're down to $60 again today. I don't know. I see some people asking for some advice on some of these names. Look, I mean, it was initially 120 for Snowflake. We'll see. It came out with tons of hype. I still think it fades back to 180, 190, something like that. That's where I'll be picking up shares myself. So let's just wait to see what happens on this one. I don't know too much about Frog, so I'm not going to predict anything long-term for that. But I do love Snowflake. I'm going to be buying that in my own account on the way down. But for a day trade, yeah, that 230 level, that's where the bottom was yesterday. The market's absolutely tanking today. So you're going to just watch this break, hopefully, on Snowflake today. 230, 231 or so is yesterday's bottom. I don't even think we'll be there by the time the market opens. We'll probably be around 220 or so.
Yeah, very busy on the IPO front yesterday. Step was the other one, not doing anything in the pre-market, but Frog and Snowflake we'll have a look at, I'm sure, throughout the show. Let's talk about some of the travel stocks, guys. We haven't looked at these for a week or so. As I mentioned at the top there, if you joined us right at 9 o'clock, we were talking about some comments that U.S. President Trump made yesterday after the market closed about 5 o'clock. He was on TV talking about a possible vaccine for distribution as soon as October. Earlier in the day on Wednesday, the CDC came out and said vaccine still 6 to 9 months out. A viable vaccine anyway. So some of the travel stocks under pressure on those comments today, guys.
Yeah, you can throw to that list further cancellations, RCL out in Australia, New Zealand, and CCL in England. So these are under pressure one more time. And the big move happened. There was a bigger move a couple of days ago through 17 on Carnival, which is what I'm looking at right here. But this little bottom, which is getting tested, we've had a couple of cracks at it, stopping short of this 1580 mark. But this is pretty much around that low. Sort of ignore this little wick that got 10 cents lower. But for the bulk of this, 1580 looks like the mark. If we can't hold this, there's some downside pressure into Carnival. Maybe it can hold up at 15, 15, 15 or something like that. If it does pop to the upside, I only kind of want to be shorting this one today, and that's going to be the bias for me. So if it comes up to like 1665, 1670 or so, I'll look for a rollover at that price. Otherwise, look for that breakdown trade, testing sort of a multi. Well, I guess it's a couple of weeks now, that little bottom at 1580.
I'm still staring at Microsoft here. It's not on our watch list, but make sure you guys do sign up for that. What we're doing right now is going over the full watch list, and here it is right here. If you haven't got it, watchlist.tradertv.live. Snow's on there. We're going to talk about Sorrento soon. Neil's going over some travel stocks. These have gotten a lot worse. And there's a bunch of names on here. Our Trader Journey videos being added to the bottom. Every release video that we have is going to be at the bottom here. Tesla, Penn, everything. Watchlist.tradertv.com. Follow along with us. And Brendan, please explain to everybody the price of our watch list.
FREE. It's entirely free to you, which is a bonus, obviously. So sign up. Yes, definitely. Sign up for that and follow along. As I mentioned, every day between 9 a.m. and 9:30, we talk about everything that's moving around. Moderna, guys, the next one. Those comments from both the CDC yesterday and President Trump also putting some of the vaccine-related stocks under pressure today. Moderna, I just saw, had a big move down here in the last few minutes from 69.5 down to 67. We're now down 2% after it was actually trading slightly higher when I first sat down this morning. So the news was they essentially updated their work as far as their vaccine is concerned. Looks like it's positive. They're talking 70% effective rate as of right now as their trial continues.
Yeah, if I wrote down my levels on a piece of paper, this is where I would be crumpling it up and I would be throwing it out. The play that I usually make here when you get positive news on Moderna or NVAX, any of these names, is usually find a bit of resistance. You can see the top here, go back to the 26, yada, 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 72. Makes the pre-market top. I was looking for a rollover to test that price, usually at the open. Don't like to trade it in the pre-market, but it's already done it. So you got to look for some support levels. Just go back to yesterday, so a couple of days ago in the afternoon, the 66 level looks somewhat decent. From there, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really looking too seriously past 66, so I'll have to pick something up and think about like 64, dig into it a bit deeper. But it's already put a bigger move than I expected on, so I'm kind of going to throw the initial plan away unless by some miracle we retest that 71, 72 area and I can catch a turn at that price. Looks like it's come and gone.
Miracle, yeah, we don't like waiting around for miracles. But the thing about Moderna is, look at this move that it's had. Like, there's no panic here at all. Like, I mean, it was just $55 5 days ago. So from $55 up to 65, 70. Now we're at 68. So, whether or not it's going to be their vaccine, I believe that there's going to be multiple vaccines, obviously, as we go. And then it's just a matter of which government chooses which vaccine. So 6 to 9 months seems pretty reasonable to me. And then we can get back to normal. So I still like a lot of these names, but I don't really trade these vaccine names unless we do get to some key levels. So that would be up here, 72. And I don't think we get there today. I mean, the market is just getting crushed right now.
All right, guys, let's go to Sorrento, the next one on the list here. If you're following along with us, the company said Wednesday aftermarket that the FDA had allowed it to start an early stage trial for its antibody candidate when it comes to hospitalized COVID-19 patients. So this is a treatment, not a vaccine. Back in July, you'll remember that another one of their drugs was also approved by the FDA for an early stage treatment trial as well. So Sorrento moving around here as well, guys.
Yeah, it's a similar story, I think, here for me and what I'm going to be looking at for some of these vaccine names. And once again, go to the daily time frame. Why I really liked Sorrento, if it could have gotten back up to this sort of 12 level, you just go to the daily, you see a nice little hold and rollover at that price a few weeks ago. And this one already making that hard turn. The gap up's bigger here, so there is a bit of an opportunity. If you kind of go back far enough, you can see just into late August, this 1040, exactly where we are right now. So there's still some potential for a gap fill here. I like it a little bit better if I'm going to have to chase. So watching $10, I'm definitely looking at a 1080 to 1011 even on Sorrento if it pulls back in, guys. So a couple opportunities to be able to short in front of the top there, but already starting to move to the southbound, to the downside. This is the problem. You want to put these shorts on. Usually they hold until the open, but this market is coming in. I think that's going to be a part of a factor as well. So I'm going to have to chase some of these. I don't want to get too aggressive with 15 minutes to go to the open.
Yeah, I was telling a few traders around here, and just like I've been telling you guys, that there was no bids coming in today, and that's exactly what's been happening. Microsoft down here just breaks through 200, so that was going to be like just a monster play, breaking through $200 for me, but it's only 9:15 and it's already happened. So that was a big one. Yeah, Microsoft's in trouble. All the tech names in big time trouble here. Look at Softy, breaks below even that level. This was that 10% drop that we had a couple days ago, and that was a record drop. So if you go 10% more from here, you're about to 180 or so. So I would say you can try to probably pick up some Softy down here if that's what you really wanted to. But there we go. Some of these tech names, man. Microsoft, check. Apple breaks through 110. That was a monster level. I had a huge playoff 110 a couple days ago. You don't even get that opportunity today. Of course, this is split adjusted. Apple just didn't do that. But yeah, all these stocks, Brendan, all the tech names with the NASDAQ fluttering around 3% down.
Yeah, another one under pressure here. I was just watching Chewy, guys. We're going to move down to Kodak. I want to make sure we get to Kodak. But Chewy out this morning with a 5 million share offering. Did test. Gap down, tested right back to where we were yesterday, but also coming off once again to the downside. Let's talk about Eastman Kodak, very active again this morning in the pre-market. Just had a big move to the downside with the futures as well. The news yesterday, obviously, an independent review of this CEO situation with option grants came back. Saying that the CEO or the company itself did nothing wrong, no laws were broken. So big rally yesterday, but back to the downside here once again for Kodak, guys.
Yeah, I'm watching 8:15, yesterday's bottom, so nice sideways action in the afternoon. I mean, just holding that 8:15, holding it again this morning. It was my top stock yesterday, shorting this one off of this failure at 10:50, which we found on the higher time frame. So when it tried to pop up through and then just slammed back down, there was a couple of retests at this level. We're all over it here, all the way down. Now I like 8:15 for a breakdown short. I also love this level. If you go into just after 11 o'clock, this little flush here, we're shorting off a 9.10 area, and that's going to hold up as the pre-market top at 9.15. So I'll also defend that price, but the first look will be if it takes out yesterday's bottom. That's the short I'd ideally like to have. If it goes up first, definitely going to be taking it between 9 and 9.15. Always have a stop on Kodak. You got to watch out for short squeezes on this name. Just worth noting, I mean, Snowflake did break 230. They saw like 228 coming right back up. I want this one to be open before I take a trade in it, but like every other name here, it seems like it's already at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I said Snowflake would be in 220s by the time we open. Looks like it bounced back there. Yeah, look, Kodak's an easy one here. 8:15 break. That's the bottom. It should have no problem breaking that. And we'll just see. I'll be hammering that one. You can obviously short it up until 8.65, 8.70, something like that. But it just depends on the share size you guys use. If you're waiting for one trade, I like that one through the bottom of yesterday. 8:15, Brendan.
One looking a little bit strong here, guys. Tesla trying to bounce. Futures are bouncing as well, but Tesla is still 6% to the downside, but trying to bounce here. No real significant news. This thing came off really hard yesterday afternoon. Was down about 4%. Came in this morning 3%. We were significantly lower than that, but below, I guess the main point here, guys, below that 415, 416 area that had been support to this point.
I liked 410. I wrote down that's just so hilarious that it stops at 410. Like, give me a break. I wrote down on this sheet here that we'd have Tesla at 410. I know you're on the wrong. There it is. It's somewhere there. You can't see it. Anyways, it's in the middle there, Tesla 410. That was a level that we liked, and why did we like that? You go back to the daily chart, and it's kind of, oh yeah, that's right, we have this adjust here, but 410 is a level that we've bounced off of before down here, so we do like Tesla going short through 410. If the momentum continues in the market, that's going to be a good one, but you just saw it hold, so based on that, you now have some levels upside that you can look to crack through 421. That's going to be a good long if you can get that. But I do like an average. If you start averaging into a short, you could use this 420 as an out and just take some shorts in this area, 417 up to 420. And if it does break above 421, 422, then you can get out. But we do have VWAP hovering around here. Looks like a good trade. You can even start to short right now. I mean, the only problem is really 10 minutes still to go. So, yeah, if you short now, you are probably going to be averaging it all the way up here, and then you don't need those buyers coming in right at the beginning of the market. So, if the market was open, I'd be short, and then short in front of all this garbage up here.
Yeah, you just quickly, when you look at the chart, it's that 14th where you had the ramp up. It was a great long trade breakout that we're covering, and then 410 was sort of an afternoon late day break, so it was resistance all day long, afternoon break at that same price. So nothing random about that whatsoever. That's why I like it. I always give myself an opportunity for a bit of a rollover trade too. I'd say 420 to 425. I'm just looking on that same day as the top. So if it gets up and tries to recover through there, I think that's like that entry point that gives you some room as opposed to only looking at a breakdown trade there.
All right, guys, let's talk about Apple here as well, real quick. No significant news. I mean, they had the product launch a couple days ago. Both the iPad and the watch, they talked about going to be available for consumers on Friday. Amazon out this morning, though, talking about getting into the podcast game. So directly competing with both Apple and Spotify, of course. But Jefferies had a price target raise for Apple this morning, guys. Another one that looks to be bouncing at this point.
I mean, Apple, you should be buying every dip anyways, but Apple here yesterday, we did have a bottom of 110. We thought, not yesterday. Yesterday's bottom was 112. I just like this stock right here. We did have a test trade go through, so we're just in and out there earlier, just make sure the software was working. But the bottom's 108.60. That's pretty low. I mean, you got to watch this market bouncing around. No one's afraid of Amazon or anything like that, so I don't think that that's going to play effect. But we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 days ago, the bottom was 110. And maybe I can bring this up. Again, it might not work because of the split, but let's just wait to see as it goes. But we had 110 as a bottom here, as the charts are going to load in a minute. But I like 110 breaking through that to the long side. And then if we're going to play a short, I don't think we're going to get back to yesterday's close. So any short before 112 looks pretty spicy to me.
Yeah, with those players as well. I have nothing to add on. Those are the only levels I had written down. Actually, 110, 112, because I sort of stick out like a sore thumb. I feel like in tech, I might end up overall in a little bit of snowflake. And we'll get to Peloton at some point, too. I don't think it was on our watch list, but that's worth a watch at the bottom. Lots of stocks at the bottom looking for breaks, guys.
One definitely at the bottom today. Play, Dave & Buster's. Let's touch on Dave & Buster's here real quick, guys. Before we get to Arun and the overall market, the Wall Street Journal reporting aftermarket yesterday, the company very close to bankruptcy or declaring bankruptcy if they cannot negotiate some sort of deal with lenders, obviously restaurants affected with the pandemic. Big move down here, though, 12% for Play today. If you remember, way back in July, there was rumors of this possible bankruptcy on Play. It ended up recovering slightly, but we're back to those levels once again.
Yeah, look, it's been a couple of decent breakouts that you've had on Play, and the party was over when we failed through 20 multiple times. And that's sort of that was the theme when we were trading it to the long side. Obviously you're going to have some significant levels back in because there was some support that we're trading off of to get that break. First one's going to be right here down at 1610, 1550 as well. I'm going to be trying to short this one almost on any kind of an uptick. If I can catch it, I wouldn't consider a dead cat bounce unless it was at that second level at 1550. I think the first 16 level will be more like where I would take a short out. 1550 maybe on a dead cat bounce is the kind of idea that I could try to go with. At that point, you're talking $4 down from 19, and they haven't declared bankruptcy, so it's worth noting. Obviously, it's nothing good here, but they haven't actually declared bankruptcy yet.
Look, here it is down here, 1630, 1640. We had some stop and goes down here before a couple days ago. So this is kind of the level that I'm looking at. We did touch down as low as 1644. That's this area here. So I like a short through 1630 and then smash this thing all the way down to 1550. So we'll be putting on this trade, I think, onto the downside. It's too bad because, this is just a casualty, obviously, of our current situation. And for Dave & Buster's shareholders, I probably would just be getting out right now. And I think that's going to be the play. You're already down 12%, Brendan, so it's important to note that's going to be SSR. So you guys are going to have to either wait for an uptick or get lucky and smash it down, and then someone will hit you a little bit on the short. So we'll wait for this one with only 6 minutes to go now. We could see this 1630 level right off the open. So if you do get that, then play it back to here, maybe, I guess, 1680, 17. So you got a little bit of room on this play short, I think.
All right, guys, let's have a look at the overall market before we get to the open here. We'll bring Arun in and talk about some levels on the futures. We were talking before we came on at 9 o'clock, and it feels a little bit different today. There is a little bit more negativity when it comes to the overall movement of the market here. Arun, what levels are you looking at today?
Yeah, so I've gone ahead and actually taken a short. I've been short for about just over an hour now, around the 30 area, with 50 as my level. I like the activity. I like the way they've been working that area on the way down. It's an aggressive overnight move. So I've gone ahead and taken a short with 50 as a level. My only concern now, after have gone through 20 twice now, is I think there's a problem. There's a lot of activity below 20 that we're not seeing just yet. So if we kind of hesitate off the open around 20, I'm going to start taking profit there. But still, 50 is a level I'm working with. And of course, going back to yesterday, I've got 3,400 and 3,420 as the levels because that short was pretty nice in the afternoon. So 3,400 above and 3,420 above that. But 3,350 is the closest level. And in between 30 and 3350, so 3330 and 3350, there seems to be quite a bit of activity. That's if you look at the chart, that's out there, that's visible. But at the same time, that 3320 below that going down to 3300, there's a lot of activity because that 3300 is very big. The zone is just getting bigger and bigger and building up a bigger range of buyers. So if we can get below 3320 in a clean fashion, I'm going to start taking profit and just, if we get through 3300, great. But I'm going to protect my profits below 3320 because I am concerned of what's down there. But for the time being, I am short.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Arun. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, directionally speaking, what we do at the open here for the overall market. One little one to look at this morning, RIGL, the National Health Institution, starting a trial for a drug that has already been approved. So if you remember way back when they were talking about remdesivir as a possible treatment for COVID patients, this company has a drug that they're going to start testing now. So the drug already approved, they're going to start testing it on severe cases of COVID-19 with hospitalized patients. So up significantly on that news. If you go to the daily chart, there's a pretty clear level at 290, which is this little pivot back in that mess as well. And then obviously 3 and then 320 above that for RIGL, guys.
Yeah, I like that one. It's very similar to NAK, which hopefully we have a knack for trading that one. I updated you guys in the chat here, but I'll just go over it because I do have a position already on a similar rollover on NAK, and this is a Northern Dynasty mine, and it's big time upside push of 26%. Anytime I see this consolidation and you can go to the higher time frame, already look at a flush through this key price. It was at $1.40. A big time flush back in the 24th, and then turning right around at that same significant price. I'm going to jump into the short in front of it. So I catch 124 on this rollover and get it out in front of 116. Worth noting, only 3 minutes to go here, guys. There was a legit buying. You see this little volume spike down here? There was a big iceberg order at 116, so I took half my position out there, 1 quarter, another quarter. I was trying to hold for more, maybe like $1.10 or even lower than that to catch a 10% move. But there was enough buying to make me cover half the position. I'm not going to reload until we get a test at the open. Hopefully we can stay below 130. I don't want to give this position all the way to the high at 140. But even if it breaks 130, I'd probably short it again if it doesn't get through the high of the day.
Okay, Tesla right now, we're going to look at that quickly. 420 coming into place fast. So we'll go long if we break through 420 here. 418 is the VWAP, VWAP on a 1 minute chart here that I have up. So we're getting ready to rock and roll on that one. Microsoft, I do like a little bit of a short here. I don't know if we like the short or not. There goes Dave and Buster's, I guess. Play just breaks downside there. 1630 coming into play. We're short, but look at the spread. So not a good spot to be short right now into this spread, but we do take the shares. So let's see. Hopefully this doesn't open up too much. You put the order out and you get hit before the market opens. So right now we're short play, but I did want to talk about Microsoft quickly as well. 201. I like the short in front of there, and then give it to 202. I don't think we get anywhere near yesterday's open, which would be close, 205. But watching the Microsoft short as we go. But right now, currently short. Hell of a lot of shares on play here, guys.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I just saw that spread open up as well. So you got to be careful when you're trading some of these. I do want to quickly get you guys back to snow, of course, that IPO. A bit of a bounce here. So, there was a test of that low. It did break yesterday's bottom. 218.80 is now the new bottom. If it does make a move up to 250, I think I'd take that rollover, but watch for some squeeze up through that 250 even price. Worth noting, pre-market, it got a little bit higher than that by about $1 or so. So if you want to round up, go for it. Kodak has bounced off the bottom as well. So it looks like might be fading into a possible short there instead of getting the break at 815. I did want to get you guys to Peloton if we have time for it. I mentioned this one, another one of these names that was on the bottom. It just bounced off of a low at 78.50. Sort of worth noting on the higher time frame here. Go back, and it was this 78.80 level that I was referring to when I talked about it. Couldn't show you on the charts there. If it does test this heavy chop area at the bottom, which was like 79.80 all the way to 81.50, if it tests this and cannot break 81.50, I'll short that price all day long, guys. 81.50 would be a hard stop, though.
Okay, let's get going. I see everyone sees Valeria in the background with only 15 seconds to go. Play the big one for me right now. Short at not a good price. I would get in before the market opens, but here we go. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get this market.
Let's drop that belt. Don't make your jump there, Randy.
All right, and we're open. So let's go now. Play. We're still in that one. We're gonna watch the NASDAQ go here and just see what they can cause, if they can cause any controversy here as the market's looking to make moves to the downside here. I'm on play right now, looking to get short some softy if we can.
Yeah, play just ticked up and actually got me triggered. I'm watching Kodak as well, guys, but NAK looks like it's trying to roll over a little bit deeper for me here. There's a test, and it already broke that 116 buyer, so all signs good on that name already. Let's see if we can't get a flush into 110 before I take any more shares off on that one. I actually got ticked on an uptick into play, but I need to get over to Moderna, which was about to test 69. I tried to catch this one when it rolled over. Let's zoom in a little bit here, guys. Already testing back to the bottom, so no bid. It was buying up into the open, and then just no bid, drops $2 right in front of my eyes. Couldn't catch any shares in that one.
Yeah, Moderna's, a big name there. Watch play here, guys. We'll see what it wants to do to the downside now. We are trying to we just did get more short there at 70. Blown out here. It's okay. Our price is bad, but everything is fine with it. We're just hoping that we can now retrace back to the downside here. But restructuring and everything could come into play here. So play could get solved out and maybe not create some bankruptcy, but we got to look at other things. The market's ripping upside here. We're going to take Tesla long probably soon.
Yeah, Snow breaks 230. Now you're looking at 225. Can I even? Yeah, I just tried to take the 225 break and ended up catching it only on the way back up, guys. I'm gonna give this one a shot, maybe back to the previous low here, just see how we can fall. You mentioned like 180. I don't have a target when we're heading to the downside, but I managed to get 224 and change. I'll probably take some out like yesterday in front of like an even dollar 220 mark, but I'm gonna try and stay away from trailing stops, which were trouble for me when I traded this name before.
Yeah, okay, so we go short here. Microsoft, good little trade. Hopefully, if it wants to go down, we're short now at 41 on Mr. Softy here. The market, though, who knows, man, where we want to go on this one. We're just going to try to hold some of these through some of these levels. Kodak does break the bottom, though. We did talk about that, Neil, so we have a big trade on happening right there. And there goes Tesla to the upside. Man, I got everything on right now. What's up, Brandon?
Another one moving here, guys, early on. Vaxart, vaccine-related as well. The FDA giving them approval for an investigational drug approval for their COVID-19 vaccine, guys.
Okay, so a couple of things here. Did get the quick scalp of $3 on Snow. Now let's see if we can get into the trade where we can hold a little bit here. If it wants to hold 228 fair, we'll try to run this one to the downside. I got to get you over to Kodak. You mentioned it, Sean. That 815 does get taken out. I trailed into it. Sorry, not trailed into it, but got the break and took a bunch out in front of $8. So a nice little trade here, but I'm still hanging on to some of this one in the event that we can get an 8 break. And this is why. Look at the gap fill from yesterday. Plenty of potential to the downside if we break $8 even. Sometimes fading into a level when you get a bottom break can be advantageous, but I'm not going to give this one too much further past like 830 to that 840 range, guys. Got to have a retracement level. Snow back in the money, but only like $1.40 on the second half of the position. I'm looking for a real flush there.
Man, we missed Kodak there. Too bad. We were long. We were short there at 810. Just had too many things to deal with. It goes all the way down to $8 there on Kodak. So watching out to see where that one wants to go. 830 is the top, so we'll get out of that one if it goes through. Tesla, we tried it, and then we got out at 418. Now our next out's going to be 415, as it looks like Tesla coming to the downside. Play as well, possibly moving to the downside. We are short again up here at 78. What's our average price? Now it's 51, but we did take another short up here, 75, sorry. So we're going to watch to see how low play wants to go, but right now it doesn't want to do anything like I want it to do. So Microsoft upside, Tesla downside. We're going to get out of Microsoft if it does go up through 202, which was sort of where we were yesterday. There goes Tesla back to the downside now. So 420 was a good spot to short, which I initially was talking about, but we did take that long.
There's that number.
Yeah, my mistake on that one, guys.
I'll backflip off a knack. It seems like we do have a knack for trading this one. It did break that 116. As I mentioned, when it gets to 110, I'll take some more out. So 124 short, got some out in front of 116, and then 110, double dip out of this one. If it comes back to like 120 to 125, I will reload on that position. Brendan, what do you have, buddy?
One from the past couple of days, guys. INO and OVO back to the upside here. Had a big flush off the open, but look at the strength coming in already. $17, big level, and then above that, $17.50 came into play yesterday, guys, on INO.
All right, Microsoft does make it all the way to the top there, so we did get out of our Microsoft a little bit of profit here, short 201.40, out some 20s, then out 202. So, 40 cent risk, 40 cent loss there on Microsoft. So we tried it to the short side there, does not work. I think we'll try to go short one more time. What was the high there, just in case we got blown out of that? Microsoft, I have too many ticks here. 202.16. Ah, shoot. Now it comes falling back down. We got out obviously at the high there. Microsoft. Watch the NASDAQ there. Nice little retracement back up. It's now 935. So the market could start to go here.
Yeah, and with the market coming up, I'm seeing a higher bottom being put into Kodak. So I'm going to lighten my position a little bit here. You're going to see I did take a reload at 825. So I am sort of happy to get out some in front of 8 even. You can always take an 8 even break for more shares. That's one of the reasons why I'm comfortable doing it. But I got to get you guys over to, and I wish we had a graphic, and I apologize for this. We really should have one for like Let It Snow or something. I don't know. These things would probably write themselves. Quick little reload. We talked about that previous bottom on snow, that 228 level. So I do reload in front of it here at 226.60. Just got out again in front of 220. So a couple of nice winners here. Still looking for the bigger flush on snow, but already one of my top stock today. If we do get the break at 220, let's see if we can't test that 200 level. Like I said, I couldn't come up with a third name that it was more expensive than when it came to revenue. Relative revenue here, and it was Nikola, it was IMMU, and there's only one other name in the entire NASDAQ that it was more expensive on a cost basis. So I'm going to give it to that 228. We're playing with house money here, but play, if I'm going to have a loser today, I cannot believe it's going to be shorting Dave & Buster's. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I probably had like 30 times more shares. So yeah, I'm getting screwed on play hardcore here. It's going to break through 700, and there it is. We will get out on that one. So we've averaged in, and now it breaks through. So yeah, there it goes. Whatever. A play breaks through the top there and just it makes a mess. So we can still continue to short this one, but obviously if the news was bankruptcy and it's not going down, then we have not much to do here. So we'll wait on this one, 1710 for play. We still are trying to go short Microsoft. We are short Microsoft right here, so we'll wait to see how high this one wants to go up. I thought I was giving it to the day's high, but obviously the NASDAQ keeps on ripping here, so watch out for Microsoft. We're short right now, 92, so it's okay. We're not necessarily in trouble. It's just we're waiting for this thing to come back down. That is Microsoft. Kodak as well, trying to make moves, but we're waiting for the downside on that one as we absorbed it all the way to 30. We did have a 10-cent winner to start, though.
Yeah, I'm going to trail the. Now we got 220 on the break on snow, so I'm going to go give it to about like 225, make sure it can't turn into a losing trade, and then see if we can't get that push. We're about 10 bucks in the money on this last short that we did take. It's a couple of shorts that we scalped, and now we got this one, hoping for about that 10% move to the downside that we can take advantage of. Brendan, what do you got?
It's been strong over the past, Jeffrey's with an upgrade here on GameStop, guys. Been strong over the past couple of days. Look at this, 8%, 52-week highs up here for GameStop, 950, just tagged there at the top, guys.
Wow, GameStop. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. I'm like, what the hell was going on with GameStop? But obviously,
you know who's in it? It's I think
they were upgraded.
I think that Michael Burry guy is invested in it. He's from the movie will come to me here. Of course, we're heavily trading as well, so it'll come to me. I'll think of it in a few seconds here. But I do want to go back over to, if I can, I should say Eastman Kodak, not stupid Kodak. If I don't like it, I'm going to call it Eastman Kodak, and when I'm happy with the trade, I'm going to call it Kodak. But it is testing back to the upside. You can see I've got a couple of scalps, but I mean higher lows being put in, so I don't know how aggressively I want to keep reloading this thing if it is trying to put in a bid. There's just no way I can give it past this entire range here, this 835 to 850. The bottom end of that range I'd like to get out here and then see if there's a retest. So I do still have some shares here, but my price is 17s, not exactly fantastic. If it breaks 35, I'll have to take a 20-cent hit on these. I thought it'd be a much weaker name today.
Yeah, I can't believe I ignored that snow breaking through that bottom. That was a great one. Okay, so we're still on Microsoft. We have a little bit of play here, but I don't know. I would like to find an area to short this if it does come back through. So I think maybe 17, we'll try short one more time, and then we'll leave it alone after that. So 17 short here on play. We'll take a couple shares and see if we can't get it back to the downside on this name. But that's Dave & Buster's right now, breaking back down through 17. I do like that short a little bit better in case the market does finally decide to roll over here.
Yeah, just going to get back to another name. I find myself only in shorts, guys. I guess it shouldn't be too surprising. I have a higher time frame look on play. When I went over this one for you, I talked about 1750 being the first break point, and that's going to be it for me. I'm just going to hang on to this one. I think if we get a break downside, there's well over $1 worth of play in this name, but Snow heads down towards 215, so still about $10 in the money. I'm looking for a bigger push than that. I'll continue to trail it every $5 that it goes. Brennan, what do you got?
My chart apparently just crashed, but we'll talk about the maker of Sean's chair. Herman Miller reported earnings aftermarket yesterday that were better than expected. Nice look for MLHR up, guys. Yeah, 20% for MLHR, guys.
Yeah, that was a pretty easy play. I actually bought some. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, these are comfortable chairs for sure. But we did buy some in my own account yesterday on Herman Miller. So we're going to celebrate a little exploded money on that one. It was kind of an easy one, right? I mean, everyone buying furniture, sitting at home in their offices. Why not buy a Herman Miller chair? But they are expensive. So I was surprising that they beat by that much, but a good beat, needless to say, for Herman Miller fans. Okay, so we are short GE here. Decent amount of shares. We're trying to run this back to the downside. As you guys know, we short up here. We shorted it early short. I mean, it's just a lot of garbage happening here on Microsoft. And this is pretty typical considering the day here. It's been choppy so far, in my opinion, anyways. The ES does make a move back. Now it's coming back downside. So we got hit out of our short a little bit there, but re-engaged it upside. So Microsoft is trying to get back into the money here. See if it can come back. I like the short at 201 and change. So if we can test back to 200, but the day has to go. And I don't know if they wanted to bring this market down today. I thought they did, down 2.2%. I thought there'd be no bids, but like we said early, the bids are going to happen early, and then we'll see what happens late. So right now, it's 8:41. I thought this would be go time. Let's see if the market can hold up. Right now, we're short 50 cents in the money on Microsoft, and finally back in the money here on Play. So let's wait to see if this bankrupt company goes downside now with the market.
Yeah, if you guys want to be a reason to be in on the watch list and go over some of the levels that we talk about here, I'll give you CCL. One of the second thing on there was the travel space. We went over this, and I said, look, if it breaks the bottom, I like the short. But if it bounces to the upside, tries to fill that gap in, look for the break to the top end. If it fails that break and comes back through, you have yesterday in the afternoon was a 16.25 area. It rolls over through that price. Grab the short on the way back down here. So it got to 16.16 entry. That's the way I like to play it. I can now give it to that fresh high of day, which is only about 20 cents or so. If you look up to 16.35, and let's see if we can't run it back to 16 even. That break gets me to the low of the day. So in this short as well, still trying to come back here. Like I said, this last position is not a scalp. I took $5-6 a couple of times on it. This one here, we're trying to get a little bit more. I'll give it back to break even to see if we can hit a home run, guys.
Yeah, Snow, yeah, what a great, we gave you that 230 level, great little look there. Kodak coming back now from the dead. We are still short that name here. It took a little bit of, you know what's to hold this one, but now we're back into the game here, so let's wait to see. I have a bid at 04 this time. Last time I was literally bidding 801 and got missed, so now it's coming back to the downside here, so we'll see if we get filled up at 804, and then we'll wait for 8 to break, and then hopefully a hell of a lot lower than that to go here on this name. Microsoft, we just did take a nice little win again. It keeps on stopping at 70, 80, so we take that out at 90. We have another bid lower, but if this market wants to come down, I've got you, Softy. Just I don't know if it wants to. So let's get a little bit more out here, and there goes Kodak. Finally, we can floss off a couple positions here, guys.
Yeah, get a look at Tesla here. Was trying to see if we could have taken out that bottom. I mean, look at this wick, and this is why we talk about it at 9:30. You don't necessarily want to get wicked into position. This is why. Slam down, comes right back to the upside. So let's see if it does test a little bit higher before I get in. I have probably too many short positions on to be just randomly adding Tesla. We do have a bunch of rollover trades, and I just, like I said, got into Carnival Cruise Lines, which is obviously a play that you guys know very heavily for a scalp trade for both of us here. I talked about it, and it just as I show it up here, filled at 16 even. That was the first target. Second target is going to be around this opening low of the day, 1570 to 1580. If it gets down there, I will take some more off on this rollover scalp. If it does fail to break through and hold below 16 even, I would move my stop a little bit tighter to that high of day, which, you know, if it shows that kind of strength, there might be a bit of a breakout trade up there anyways, guys. So nice little trade there. We'll go with, I don't know, some Superman action. The only thing that is not in the money is currently play, which is close enough to flat. But there was a missed opportunity this morning. I do need to get you guys to Moderna. There was a great flush here, but it's come all the way back and starting to look a little too strong for my liking. So I'm going to stay away from shorting Moderna. The play was obviously at 9 o'clock, and I missed it. Brendan, what do you got?
Another one from the health group, Bausch Health. There's two separate. It was Morgan Stanley. I was just checking the other one. Bank of America, Morgan Stanley and Bank of America upgrading this one today. BHC, almost 3% already, guys. This thing's been on a bit of a tear. If you look at the daily chart, 3 days in a row to the upside now for BHC.
On Kodak.
Yeah, BHC, good name there. Yeah, Kodak. I mean,
I'm continuing to buy back out of this one, guys. I think the 8 even break, I might just take an 8 break to add to my position and cover some shares, because that way I can load back up if it gets to like 835, 840 instead of dumping it. That's the thing. So I like the opportunity to maybe add an 8 even break. I will take a bunch more off here and then wait to see if it can't pop up to 35, 40, guys, and then reload that trade. So that's going to be the plan for me on Kodak. It's a good trade. You can see here every trade short has been a win. Only 2 entry points on the break at 15 and then the reload at 22. But for now, I want to pair it off a little bit in front of that 8 even.
Microsoft trying to make moves to the backside right now. And so we're going to wait to see exactly what it's trying to do here. CCL, though, looking to get short on that one if it does break. I know Neil just talked about it. I like that 1580 break, but now it's just ripping upside here. So you got to watch out for these futures. We are getting close to making new not days high, but we could take this out here at 333 on the ES, especially the NASDAQ as well. So our Microsoft trade is getting in question. I think it's still fine. We are short up here. We're giving it to the top. If it breaks up here, then we're going to get out. But right now, Microsoft bouncing around a little bit. We may take a little more short if we can get it. But I hate shorting, Mr. Softy. But it could be on the play and on the docket today for that trade. So watch out. More to the downside here. We'll probably short it again against this 203 level. We talked about why we liked it yesterday. The close was 204, 205. Yesterday, you did come all the way down. You tried. It does break 200. I mean, I think we can test there, but the market just continues to be strong here. So we did lose a little bit on the short here. Obviously, the big loss today was play. We tried it. We thought this was the pre-market fills never work out well, but we tried it again, and then we're able to cash out a little bit there on play. So we're still giving it to the top side, but yeah, all these stocks seem to be wanting to go green here.
Yeah, and just getting me ticked out there. Snow does come back, guys. So try to hit the home run the last little bit. We take a $5 and a $6 win. And the last little bit, very, very small win. Trailed at 26 to a 25 level. So we'll be able to get up for profit. I mentioned that I was looking for a breakdown trade in Peloton. Obviously, you can see here, bouncing off of the open. That's just going to be the 1 minute look. The other way to get into this position that I was mentioning came and went. And odds I was going over to CCL and adding into Kodak and trading all these names. Look, you're going to miss an opportunity like this. And I did say Peloton, I liked it to test that pre-market top and then roll over. That's already happened. Once you've missed that trade, I'd almost need to see it fail, break through 81.50 and then come back in. I'm not going to step in front of that train if it tests up there again. That's a little bit too much strength for me. Brendan, what do you got?
Another one that has been in the vaccine-related or COVID-related group, Heat Biologics, HTBX, very strong today, 7%, big-time volume. This thing was very strong yesterday as well, if you look at the daily chart. So big move up yesterday. We're right at these highs from the afternoon, 140 up to about 150. Big area for HTBX, guys.
All right, still looking. I'm still trying to build into this Microsoft position with a high of 203.25 or so here on the day. I don't need that to break, and if it does, then we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. But we are averaging into this Microsoft short just off the top here. Again, if we can get, I mean, I don't know why it resisted so hard at 202 flat. So there's going to be something there. But finally, Dave and Buster's heading back to the downside here. Play breaking a little bit down. So we'll see. This is where we got out some at 69. We are short now at 16.92. So 30-cent win there on play as it keeps trying to make moves down. So hopefully that can happen for us, and then we'll get out. I mean, I still think we can come back to at least these levels, 16.50. Let's put a bid there and see if we get hit.
Yeah, I want to get you guys back to Sorrento. Of course, this one in the news and a bit of a retracement as well in this name. I did miss that 10 break, obviously, just to see what it was already doing in the pre-market. The problem here was this trade happened literally right after the open, so you had to have be ready and locked and loaded to go. There's still plenty of room to get back to yesterday's top of like a 915, so there is some area to get maybe a pullback sell opportunity, which would be in front of 10 even at this point. There was some chop stop in and around that price. For me, I'm still hanging on to play here is I need to see it break. At least first out wouldn't be until it tests 16 even, and then from there 1550 was the next target we gave you. If that floodgate opens up, it's under a lot of pressure. But Sorrento has come and gone. Short Kodak, NAC play, and CCL. CCL bouncing a little bit though.
Yeah, CCL, I like that CCL trade. We are going to try to take some of that if we can get it. I'd love to get it up to 1630 though, CCL, where we can get a nice short in here. 1620, 1630 would be pretty sweet. Oh, it just does go to 1620 there. That's not a horrible spot, so we're going to wait to see if that won't happen. Reach a TikTok plan. We're going to watch and see Oracle today, see if there's anything on TikTok coming through. 59 right now. Oracle down today, and we're going to wait to see if there's any news on Oracle and TikTok coming through. What's up, B?
Looks like a lot of these little tiny, once high-flying COVID stocks starting to peak back up here. Tonix, another one. We just talked about heat. Yeah, I was just checking some of the headlines there. TNXP, 15% just right now as we speak, breaking through $1 on huge volume, guys, for TNXP.
All right, good name there, TNXP. Look at NASDAQ falling a little bit here. Microsoft trying to go, so we did make a nice little average in here onto the short. So I hope you guys had some of that with us as well. So Microsoft, a decent trade here, making moves downside. I have some bids low, so hopefully those can get filled in the teens. That would be pretty sweet. We're short 85, 86 right now on Softy, but it's been a good trade so far. Here comes CCL back to the downside.
Yeah, I thought I'd maybe get a reload opportunity in CCL. I do not get it, unfortunately. Speaking of reloads, Kodak getting to this point here, decision time, so continues to bounce off 8 even. I have a stop to take more shares short at 8. If it does bust through heavily at 835, I'm looking for an opportunity to maybe catch like an 850 area there. So we'll see what happens. Kodak still showing a little bit more strength than I would have liked at this level, guys. So I'm just going to stay away from it for the time being. Make a decision. I'm still short on it, but we're going to have to make a call at some point whether I can add to this position. And that's going to be when it gets to 835 to that 850 area. Just got triggered in. I had winners on snow and trailed my stop. Got out, like I told you guys, for a small win on that little final third in that last reload at 260.26, but still had the original stop at 231. It fills. I get in, I get out immediately. It doesn't matter that I end up winning like 40 or 50 cents on the trade. It's just about getting out altogether. Trading probably a few too many shorts going into this morning, but there's so many setups that I like, guys. So watch out for snow. It looks like it does want to test this opening top at 238. 250 is the next level to the upside. I got nothing else in between those prices, guys, but obviously it's at the recent IPO. Brendan, what do you got? Another
one from the watch list, guys. Chewy, right back to day lows here, pre-market lows anyways. We're talking about this 53.20, 53 area. So they had the offering we mentioned in the pre-market there, tested where we were yesterday, but right back down for Chewy, guys.
Okay, so Kodak touches 35 and starts to roll over. You know, this is just me. I'm going to see if I can't take another shot here in front of that level. What I can do is, for the amount that I just added, go with a tight stop at 35, maybe give the rest to like a 50 or so. But if it wants to roll over here, I'll try to take a shot scalping it back down into like 810, 815. Hopefully that even that 8 even bottom where we're going to go short again. But I'll take the first half out right here at 835 and maybe give the rest a little more room.
Okay, we have some news. Walmart's moving around here, it looks like. I don't know. I always like to watch this stock. What is this high up here? 137.71 from yesterday. Microsoft, a nice little move, or sorry, Walmart, a nice little move to the upside here on that. So we'll see if there's any news. I know Brendan's going to be looking at that one. We did get hit off the top here as the market just continues to run. So also there goes Microsoft to the top side. So we get out. So again, pretty flat. Our biggest loser, I guess, was when we started building here, but nice little builds upside and then out around 202 flat. We did talk about that one. We're averaged into CCL as well. I said we'd like some around 30, but instead now we averaged in at 02. We took some more at 11s now, so let's wait to see if CCL has any downside moves here as the market is coming right to the backside right now. What's up, Brendan?
So the White House Chief of Staff, Meadows, guys, right at the open, right at 9:30, was making some comments, basically saying that the TikTok Oracle thing is not finalized, and there's still a lot of question marks. So that could be a little bit of a catalyst as far as Walmart is concerned. There was also a positive note on the entire retail sector from Cohen out this morning, raising targets on Target, Walmart, and other grocery retailers, guys.
Target,
on
Walmart,
target.
and other
There you
groceries.
go. I like that little pun there. I'll get you guys back to SRNE in a quick second, but first, everyone's talking about TNXP. It just got out of penny stock status. When I look at this sort of higher time frame, the daily chart, usually I like to see something obvious. I mean, a mild maybe area at 115 to 120, but really, gosh, don't have anything till like 140 and then up at 170. So gonna have to play this one a little bit by ear for a rollover type trade. It is up 16, 17%. The other thing I would note here is if it holds a buck, there was a bit of a bottom consolidation here. So if it holds $1, there could be some longs off that level, which is not necessarily something I'd normally play, but it does look like it's possibly set up for that. Kodak, I will go with the roller coaster because that is exactly what it's been on this name all morning long. The shorts were great initially. It just took out the half my reload there at 35, which I said would be a tight stop. Now it's testing that 850 level. Check that. This top is like 854, so I got to adjust my stop here. I'll give it a few extra pennies off that even dollar. And see, there you go. I mean, I had my stop. It's an opening range type break play. And I had my stop 4 cents off because I just assumed it was a round number instead of looking to see at that top at 854.
AMD trying to take out some tops here too, $76 or so for a possible stop spot there on AMD. I was watching Kodak as well. Okay, AMD here, we was talking about that. I was looking at it on other charts. Thank you everybody for joining up so far today. We have Joshua Jackson and Liquid Media coming through today. That should be exciting at 11:45. We'll hit that in a minute. Or someone can, if they have it on their board, you can hit that. Joshua Jackson and Liquid Media coming through at 11:45.
Sorry, it's going to do this.
There we go. Perfect.
There you go. Yeah. No, like Sean said, Daniel Cruz, also the CFO of that company, and look, it should be very interesting. A great production company here north of the border, but it is listed on the NASDAQ, so the trading sense to it as well. So I hope you guys are interested in learning about different sectors and learning from experts, guys, because they know their ish, if you know what I mean. I got to get you guys back over to Dave & Buster's because it's approaching this previous bottom, and like I said, lazy order putting. Yeah. Like I mentioned, you guys, I want to take some out in front of the bottom, and you just saw my order below the bottom of the day. So we'll adjust that one to take it out. Some shares out in front of like this 1620 bottom. If it breaks that, I already have one in front of 1550 that I've been waiting for. And again, if it breaks this high, I'll be all out of it. Dave & Buster's, like, it's not going bankrupt, but threatening bankruptcy on a name which was previously breaking out, and then a hard rejection at 20, guys. It's hard to see that it wouldn't be testing 15 at some point today. But like I said, so far it could end up being the one losing stock I have. Position dependent, because Kodak could always break 50, and then that'll be a loser as well.
We just had a super chat disappear. I wanted to answer, and it was you, Matt Murphy. So thank you so much again for the super chat. Look, to say that I'm a bull on Tesla. Obviously, we've talked about that over and over again. I did have Tesla long through 420, and I was negative on the market. Remember, we had a whole bunch of positions, Microsoft, so on and so forth, lots of different stocks short. So I got out thinking the market was going to drop, but no, people are loving Tesla, man. So I would just keep holding on to everything, and especially those calls that you have. Again, they're for expiry next week, so you got to be very, very careful. But I do like it. Tesla to the upside. I think we can get to 450 at least up here, especially with the strong pin action today. I mean, ding, 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 all the way straight to the upside there. So we did have this at 420 and dropped it, but a nice little move to the upside here. I'm pretty, needless to say, bullish on Tesla. And I mean, it's such a cult stock that, hey, if anything does come through on battery day, then, I mean, this is going to be monstrous. They're probably going to announce a couple new products. So we'll wait to see if that does get juicy the way it's going. And, Matt Murphy, there it is again. I feel the same. Thank you, brother. Thank you for everything that you're doing for the show as well with those super chats. Mad love to Mr. Matt Murphy. Let's hear it for him on the chat, guys.
Yeah, and let's go with lining up and knocking them down. I hope you guys are enjoying so far what we have going on with a moving market here with the NASDAQ back above 1100. Dave & Buster's not so much. So that 1620 bottom just took some shares out in front of it, so 1/3 of the position only. If it breaks 16, next target was 1550. This we all went over in the watch list as far as a plan of action does go. But I can tell you, it's not a winner over here on Kodak. I'm going to flush myself down the toilet. I literally just tweeted out when you have a level like this, and we have direct market access, so I could look at the level 2. I could see the buying support that was going on in front of 8 even. I took off a bunch of shares both times in front of it. I adjusted my stop for only half the position to this 835. I should have taken it all out maybe. I'll reflect on that a little bit later, but then taking the rest on that 850 break, that's going to make me slightly negative on the stock despite the nice opening trade that we had on it. I do need to get you guys back to Let It Snow over in Snowflake. It's still going to be my top stock of the day, having taken a couple of scalps out of it, 5 and 6. But we did have that last short, at 226 and change that we got out at 225. So that could have been a home run. I stared $10 in the face. I was looking for 15, 20 on that trade. Couldn't quite get there. Seems like it's still going a little bit strong so far, holding that previous low of 230. So obviously that's a strong sign. Yesterday's bottom, 230-ish. Any ramp up from there, 238 and 250, the next level's up. We're watching on that massive IPO. I mean, this thing went past $300 yesterday.
Yeah, it got halted there, and then, it won't go to $300 anytime soon, but we'll wait to see. Okay, Microsoft making moves back to the upside. NASDAQ yesterday, the high, or the bottom today, 11,082. So we are getting close. We can switch over here to the NASDAQ NQ just to see, as it seems to be driving, obviously, the boat here as we go. NASDAQ still making moves to the upside. So watch out here. You're trading anything. We could take out this top, and that would create some pressure here. So we did go short again. Microsoft, we're short now at 203, basically 202.98. I basically got out at the very top, so that's congratulations on me for that one. But 203.40, here it comes. So we'll give it to 203.50. I get out if we break 50-cent levels. So this will be a 50-cent hit once again on Microsoft if this keeps on going. I do like CCL to the short side. But that is also getting blown. So we got to watch.
You know the difference is CCL wasn't part of the whole tech wreck, NASDAQ coming down. This was more of a reopening play, cancellations and whatnot. So I'm still digging into that one in front of the high of day as opposed to some of these other names. But look, it's already 10 o'clock. So I was going to get to Tesla in a second. But let's come back to that after we go to the big screen, happening now with Brendan.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at North American markets here, see how things are shaping up. Still very, very negative right across the board here. 1+% for the most part. The Dow, the only one, kind of standing out here, 0.8% to the downside. Everything else very negative. S&P more than 1%. The NASDAQ, both the composite and 100, nearly 1.5%. So the beginning of this week, we saw tech stocks kind of leading the market higher, not so much today. The Russell, same story, 1.6% for small caps. Here in Toronto, 0.5% for the TSX. BOVESPA down in Brazil, about 0.6% to the downside. A few things moving here in Toronto. Some of the tech shares under pressure in the U.S. Biggest tech stock here in Toronto, Shopify, only 2%. So it did have a bit of a move to the downside right at the end of the day yesterday, gapping further to the downside yesterday. So trying to get back higher. We're through that opening high on Shopify. Let's move over to the cannabis space, also under pressure again today after a sell-off late in the day yesterday. If you want to look at Canopy, TD, some of the banks I noted as well in big-time trouble today. Again, same story, big sell-off yesterday late in the afternoon. TD trying to hold $62, guys. We are very red right across the board. Back over to you.
Yeah, we're pretty red. That's for damn sure here as we go, and we are pretty red with CCL as well, but we're short at 07, so waiting to see if this one wants to come back down. Hopefully the market will fail up here as we've gone on a monster move, man. 10,900 basically to 11.1 or so on the upside. So yeah, we'll wait to see if this market has any juice left to it on the downside, but thank you so much. Yeah, you hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the share for sure. If you are liking the show, let your friends know. Let everyone you know that we are doing this show, and it's free every single day. And we really like that we had a couple new members today, and I did want to give a shout out once again, Ralph. You hooked us up yesterday, and you did again today. So thank you so much, Ralph. We're really glad that you guys are all enjoying the show, and of course, follow us all on Twitter at Trader TV. Sean, Neil, and Brendan. But CCL is the one that we're working on right now, trying to make that to go to the downside here. More to come. 16.20. I'm trying to give it to 16.35, so let's wait to see.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I have 16.35 as a high on my chart, and then for some reason our system says 16.46. But I see 35. That's the top for me. I'll give it to that and no further. Haven't touched Nikola today, but I do want to get to this name. Of course, it's been in play. Short sellers, yada yada yada. But making a bit of a defend, and you can see here on the daily chart, it did break that low. It's bouncing back to the upside. You have to watch out for short squeezes on names like this, and you go to yesterday's top. top, 34.92. It just tested that, 86. I'm looking at 35 for a potential break. I think there could be some squeeze action through 35 on Nikola. So file that one away. We're like almost $1 away from that price, but I don't have any longs on right now, and I feel like that's going to be one if it squeezes through 35. Let's go Nikola if you can get to that price.
Yeah, you know what? I should check out Nikola. Nikola yesterday was one trade that we loved, and we had that as our trade anatomy yesterday was Nikola. But yeah, look at CCL, man, getting a bid now down here at 16.25. Daryl, let me know what you're thinking about CCL, because I'm heavily into this short right now. So it'd be really great to find out what your opinion is. It does look like it's making moves up, man. I was just, look, the main problem with me today was how how bearish I was on the whole market. Normally it turned bull. But today we turned bear. Didn't think there'd be any bids off the open, and there's a hell of a lot of bids. The only long I ever had today was Tesla. Believe it or not, I lost on that long when it's now $10 in the money. So that's the market for you. Every day will be different. But yeah, wow. There goes Nikola. Yeah, good trade there. Up to $34. Was not expecting to see a red green stock here for Nikola today based on the day that we're having, but it looks like they do like this stock to the upside. I've been long Nikola for a while. It's almost time to put some more shares in the old kitty, if you know what I'm saying.
There you go. I'm going to get a few more shares out of NAK. And again, this is a name from our watch list. You'll see anything from the bigger names to obviously a very small cap here. Look, it's a simple rollover play, 125. I had it in the pre-market, gave you the level. It actually gave you another opportunity to get that same entry point. But, you know, at 925, I'm looking at some other things. I'm already in position. Probably a chance to add that I missed. But either way, I gave 110 as a bit of an out. It's starting to round out above that. So this is why I'm going to take a few more shares off here at 113. Then a hold will end up being the last 20% for a 110 break. And then if that breaks, I'm looking to get out in front of one even. If I can take 125 short and work that all the way out in front of $1, which is a psychological level, I'll do that every single time. At this point, with a couple of tests at that 125, I would not load back into it at that price. I would certainly wait to see it test the 140 high of day, guys. So nice trade over here in NAK. All kinds of names on our watch list. Make sure you cover them with us and trade what's moving, guys. Not every day you get moves in the market like we're seeing today. When it doesn't, you want to make sure you got the bangers.
Yeah, hells to the yeah. You got to make sure you have the risk and you have the shares on, and you're really trying to make. This is a good day to try to make some money or lose some money if you're me. So 16.35. We're still waiting for 16.36 here. Man, CCL, come on, man. Look at this. Just average. And if you follow us, you'll know that I say you don't want to average in this much, but we do have an out up here. So it's a planned trade, and we will lose a bit on it. Microsoft, again, the same type of thing, man. It does make a move back down to 203. We could have got out of everything there, but we don't. And now it looks like it's going to take out the top as well, as the NASDAQ just keeps on surging here, Brendan.
Another one to look at here, guys. From the watch list, Penn National Gaming, 5.5%. This thing's been on a tear since $50. We held $50 back at the end of August, all the way up to 72 now for Penn National Gaming. A couple of upgrades on this one today, guys.
Yeah, always. Look, I mean, Brendan put this one on the watch list, and I'm going over them this morning. I'm like, Penn's not done any volume. I'll revisit this a little bit later on. Well, that was a big mistake. If Brendan likes it, low key, obviously a fantastic trader, but he knows what he's looking at here. And this is what's killing me. Look at this break at the pre-market high, and look at all the chop in the afternoon at that yesterday in that same price, guys. So you get all this chop in here, you get the break, it then holds that same bottom just around that same 67.50 to 68 area, giving you like breakout, pullback, multiple shots at that trade. That's one like I can't be missing a breakout like this on Penn Gaming. But when I see that move up into some fresh highs, there's no levels to work off of at this point. I need some serious selling to come in to give me the juice and confidence to go into the short on Penn Gaming. Maybe it gives you 67.50 again. I seriously doubt it, but you got to like that price.
Yeah, and I'm going to blame everything on Arun telling us to go short. So I've only been going short today. So thanks, Arun. No, just joking. I hit the keys. So I know he's probably feeling it as well if he's short. So 204 right now, Microsoft coming through. What's up, Zach? What do you want to talk about? Love you talking out, and you crack me up. Okay, so that's probably Brendan cracking you up, I guess. Brendan back. Oh, look. Okay, here we go. Finally, some CCL love back to to the downside right now. 1625, 1630, we did average into it. So our average price is 1611, bringing me back a little bit. We will see here what we're doing. But yeah, we are in the red today. That's for sure. We've been short all day. The market's just going up, and we actually trade with shares. So we're red today, and I hope you guys have either lowered your shares or you're long. So right there, yeah, it's been a red day for sure. My biggest mistake, honestly, though, was this play. We got in too early off of a bounce down in the pre-market. Then we had to absorb it all the way up. If I was looking at 17, we should have probably just stayed on 17 and waited for that. But yeah, today, we take a shot today, and we're going to go red. So yeah, September has been a little bit of a choppy day, choppy trade for me. But you know what? That's what day trading is. If you're in this business, and you're trying to make some money, then you do have to take some risks, guys. And those of you that trade know that you're going to be red every once in a while. There's times that July and August was so great. I think I was red 4 days there out of 40. So we can absorb a little bit right here, guys. Okay, and this is maybe what we need. We need an upgrade and downgrade here from Brendan. Let's see some other names possibly that we can trade here today, guys.
Hey guys, yeah, we'll talk upgrades and downgrades. Obviously, with the overall negativity in the market, a lot of these going to be red. In fact, yeah, all of them are red. But on the upgraded side, a couple we were looking at yesterday, Adobe here and FedEx, both in negative territory. FedEx a little bit stronger right now. Adobe having trouble today. And Lennar from a couple of days ago catching an upgrade today as well. Over on that side of the story, Sienna, I'll show you that one in a second. Pretty ugly chart. And BP down closer to 2% now for BP. Oil stocks having trouble today. This is not the right one, but we'll talk about Oracle because Oracle did have obviously the news coming out with regards to the White House still with question marks as far as this TikTok story is concerned. But I'll shift over here and see if we can look at, Sienna was downgraded, big gap to the downside, but ripped from 40.50 up to 41.5. Watch this area from yesterday, starting to have a little bit of trouble, 41.30 up to 41.50, but downgrade for Sienna, guys.
Right.
I want to get you guys back to Kodak for a brief second here. Of course, we did have a nice trade initially and then gave it a little bit too far, that 850. It's starting to round out a little bit here and just giving you the higher time frame. So you can see yesterday's flush. We had shorts from like 10, 15 yesterday, but it was this level here around 9 to 910 that was a good reload that we took into the eventual bottom. This is the actual top in the pre-market here. So if it can roll over, failing at that same 910, I'm going to take another shot shorting in Kodak here. There's two ways it will happen. Either breakdown, which I already have a stop if it breaks this little range at 865. But otherwise, see it roll over at $9, shy of 910. I try to jump in manually on a position. I'm not going to give it past that 910 level. That was a big one that it could not break all afternoon long. Actually, even before lunchtime, it couldn't break it. So watch out for 910. Any short, I would definitely be all out of that one. I want to see if we can actually slay that dragon today on Kodak. I do want to get you guys very quickly back over to play, Dave & Buster's. We've been talking about that one all morning long. For me, I do have right in the middle of the range is going to be my short. If it breaks the top, you got to be out of this one, certainly. But my next target is at 1550. So it's getting a little binary here. If it doesn't make the dollar move down, test. And if you go even a little bit further than that, hopefully breaking this level here, that 1550. Once that happens, I really think we have a chance to flush down to maybe even 14. That's what I was expecting. It seems like it's got more of a bid in it than that, but won't give it anything past that high of day. Dave & Buster's so far has not yet turned into a loser, but a little more strength than I was anticipating in that name.
Yeah, we're going to average into some Kodak here if we can and take it to the downside maybe. So we're taking some shares here on Kodak right now, seeing if we can't, hold this 9 where we've been and then make some moves back to the downside here on Kodak. But right now, CCL trying to make some moves back downside. What's up, Eve?
A little bit more on this Walmart kind of angle to this whole TikTok story, guys. You remember a couple of days ago we were talking about Walmart possibly being involved on the e-commerce side of things. So it looks like there's still some rumors that could be true. But Oracle going to be the main portion. Walmart possibly with an angle as far as the e-commerce is concerned. So that's what that big volume spike was back to the upside. We're at 137 now for Walmart, guys.
Yeah, and heading back to the upside, and you remember Snowflake, of course, the IPO, big time volume again. It's not like 5.5 million shares, which I'm not saying it's insane because nothing's insane anymore in this market, guys. Looking at this little chop, 238 was one level we gave you. It's now holding that price to like this 242-ish range. Obviously, 250, that psychological level is going to matter. I've been sort of resisting the temptation to go long in this stock. But it just feels like the squeeze could be on through like a 242 break. Maybe take that as a scalp in 250. The only success I had was taking the quick $5, $6 scalps when I tried to hold. Got a little bit greedy. There was a $10 move that I was unable to take, unfortunately. But I want to say to you guys, one thing we try to do here is you always got to learn from your mistakes. You certainly, the learning never stops. I don't care how long you've been trading. Incidentally, I've been trading almost a couple of decades here. Over on our Market Wisdom page, we do talk about these educational topics all the time. Today, we're dropping one. You can see my ugly mug there. It's simplifying your trading to increase profits. And this is something I literally heard Brendan say to one of our traders. He's asking Brendan for advice, and he said, stop. Too complicated. Keep it simple. Stop overthinking things. And I think that's one thing I tend to do when I'm using like trailing stops or trying to extend winning trades. Look, if it looks like it's catching a bid and you see a bit of a reversal, just take it off. And if you're good at scalping and the scalp trade is there, just keep taking that. And you can do a paper trade for the bigger trade until you have a read on it. Snowflake has been all over the place for me. And if I kept it simple, would be up probably at least 50% more on it, having taken some profits. So keep things simple, guys. Check that one out on Market Wisdom. Brendan, what do you got?
I mentioned that Tonix Pharmaceutical a little bit earlier, TNXP. Apparently, they're going to have a live webinar updating their work on a T-cell immunity vaccine or antibody vaccine, possible work for COVID. So TNXP did get up to 108. I was really wanting it closer to 115, even 120 to kind of get into this choppy mess from way back when. But not so much. We're back to $1. We'll see what happens with TNXP. Valeria is watching what's going on over in Europe this morning. What's moving around over in Europe, V?
Yeah, Brandon, Renault is down 1% after industry data showed that new car sales fell by 17.6% in August. Back to you.
Yeah, big negative number there for, I was actually looking at Ford a little bit earlier, but yeah, RNO in Paris. We'll update that one at 11, guys.
Okay, I
thank
see
you.
you
Sorry,
here.
I want to thank Chris here for the super chat there. For some of you guys that can't go short, look at where shorters cover and say that things are strong. That's a great look for where to maybe jump in if you're going in that direction. So I'm watching TXP through one even. Sorry to interrupt you there, Sean, but if that breaks and goes to penny stock status, I'll take that shot.
Yeah, Kodak, give me a break here. It's going to break through 9. We talked about people getting squeezed out short here, and it looks like that's going to happen again. I just don't believe in this company, never have. So obviously, those of you that are short this name is going to feel a little bit of pain like I am right now. Short 880 averaged in all the way upside. But one thing that did come back, oops, not Apple, that's I don't know what that's doing, is CCL right now coming back to the downside. So we just got some out at 14s and 13s. Our average price is 12s. So we held that one a little bit against us there, not much, but now we have a lot of shares, so we still are hoping for some backside mover, anticipated here for CCL, but it does make that move all the way to the downside, so we got to watch out. Kodak is still flashing itself around, trying to impress me a little bit. Play, yeah, that was a great short up here, and we did re-engage in that, so we're not down nearly as much as we were initially there. The only problem that I had with Play was getting in on the pre-market, and I've told myself that I didn't want to do that. But when I put the order in, we were all the way up here at 17, and I didn't think we'd test pre-market lows before we even opened, but we did. There goes Kodak through $9. Normally I have these kind of breakouts long. Today I'm only going short, and that's where you have a bias and it burns you. So there it is, Kodak through $9 once again. Bad stock for me today.
Yeah, the only shot I might take shorting this one, at least in the short term, I think there's a chance if it fails at this break, and it was 9.10 was that price range, it almost has to immediately snap back down, and then I'd re-engage into the short trade. It never rolled over. I'm always looking for it to roll over shy of a high like that. That just didn't happen. It just goes straight through like a, just cut through it like a knife through butter. If it fails to get to like 925 or so, at the next psychological level, and then roll shy of it, I'd get back in on 910. So that exact same price would become a short. But once it's broken 925, all bets are off for that type of a trade. and it seems like that's happening right now. So there goes Kodak. It doesn't look like there's going to be a trade there. TNXP, we already talked about that one. Mankind here, MNKD, sorry. I just want to thank Matt for the super chat there. Not one that I was actually watching, but as you mentioned it, nice break through like 195 area, a couple of days in a row moving up. But I'm watching this. Like if it gets to like 210 and then 250, a couple of obvious places where you could run into some resistance. That's where people like to take some profit off, and you might see some sellers jump in. It's not a one-day move, but because it's sort of a multi-day type of move to the upside, extending it to second day. That's exactly why I'd expect maybe that first level to run into resistance at 210. Had it been all parabolic the first time, it might chew through a level like that. So if it rolls shy of it, 210 is the first level I'm watching on MNKD.
Okay, we're going to give this one back to about 1610 or 1620 here, and that is whatever this is, play. We did take another short breaking through 15 or 16, sorry. So we're going to watch to see if that one's going through. And here we go. I didn't see just a super chat coming through. Finally, thanks, Sean, yesterday for snow. Yeah, you want to hear a bang, but we're not going to be doing that too loud anymore. But your confidence made me $22 per share. So we'll do a banger for you there, Chris. Thank you so much for all of that. Bang for Chris. Today. Good little move there, and thanks for the super chat. Good. Yeah, okay, Donkey Kong, I see that there. Joseph Mendoza, learn from Sean, taking the trade off when it's hard to get out. Big lesson from a pro trader. Thank you so much. We do love that. We did have my journeys up there yesterday. Brennan and I and Neil's journeys all up as well on our Market Wisdom page. So thank you for enjoying all of that and making those videos quite key. So good on you guys. Thank you, Joseph, and thank you, Chris. Look at this. There's a little bit of size here just to show you guys at 16 here. So let's watch and see if this gets crushed to the downside. I would need that to happen as we're short play right now. 1603, hoping for some more downside moves. We were lucky to get out at 92 there. Hopefully we get a little more on this flush right now. Let's go over to the big screen now with Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. Let's have a look at a few names that we were dealing with this morning in small cap world. Yeah, these guys just touched on this, but I'll give you my take on Kodak. Also going to be a loss for me through that top. I think it's worth a shot in front of that 910, 920 area on the downside. But I'll preface that by saying that this thing, I think, showed its hand very, very early today down here at $8. Very, very strong. There was definitely a buyer that stepped up down at $8 and was absorbing a lot of shares down here because the movement into $8, very, very weak in the pre-market. As soon as the market opened, straight back to the upside. So this kind of move, first off, worked very well, but then trying that, at the top of the range, not so much. This one we talked about right before the open, RIGL. This worked very well, in fact. 290 up to 3, I mentioned in the pre-market there. Nice flush, all the way down to 250. Looking like it might even want to test lower as we speak for RIGL. And one from yesterday, MYO. Quick trade right off the open there, but MYO had this 490 to 5 area that ended up being a bit of resistance and support yesterday. So give you a shot there down to 450 at the open as well. Guys, back over to you.
Yeah, I mean, everyone gave everything back on that Kodak. I mean, it's just one of those plays where, I don't mind the bias whatsoever. I mean, this is very similar to Hertz. It's not the same thing as Hertz, but it's very similar when you'd hear us almost every single day looking for short opportunities, and every now and then you're going to get a squeeze to the upside. So you're going to be able to have to take that when 4 out of 5 days you're going to be positive on it and have great wins. I was looking at that Nikola 35 level, see that top, and it was testing there, thinking there was going to be a breakout. And it's like the one time I'm not thinking immediately, where's the shorting opportunity on Nikola, and then it fails right off of that price, guys. So it's about $1.50, about $1 away from that 35. I still like that break to the long side, just because, obviously when you looked at it, I'll try to go to a 15 so you can see a little bit better here. Just going back from the 3 to the 5, if it'll ever load up. This is why we like that level as a bit of a top. If it gets through here, you can see how far the gap is. Definitely $1 to $2 to that 37 level. 38 was a big one as well, so on a scalp trade, it looks pretty good. 38, you have to watch out for. That was a bit more important to me than that 37 that you have a couple of days ago as the high. So you might have a secondary break through that price. Certainly worth a couple of dollars worth of upside through that 35 even break. But like I said, just flushed a buck off of it.
76. We can use 76 here as a little bit of an out for AMD. We're trying to go a little short here again on AMD. We're still waiting for play to go. And then other than that, man, CCL continues to go upside now, breaking to basically day's high here. We're waiting for the 1635. That's right where it is. Our out's going to be 1640. So if we get up there, it looks like it's going to try to go right now. Although the NASDAQ is coming back to the downside, AMD right away a 20+ cent win on this. So whatever. We're still going to the downside now on AMD. Nice little win here, instantly in the money. Look at this, 75.83 right there, short AMD. Nice trade as it's breaking downside. So we could take this 50 cents right away. Nice little hot dog win here for AMD, and we'll see if we can get a little bit more as it's continuing to fall down here. Big win right there on AMD. So right away, too. Wow. The stocks I hold don't go, but these little ones seem to want to go here as AMD even cracking lower right now as we speak. But yeah, NASDAQ breaking down here. So that's pretty good. There goes Softy, $1 in the money as well. Brendan, what's up?
One that was very strong yesterday, guys. Didn't look at this, but look at GE late. I guess it was after lunch, after we got off the show. But from 12 o'clock on, GE very strong. Again today, extending gains up another 5 and change percent. They signed a contract to do some renewable energy work over in Norway with the Norwegian government. So GE on the move, guys.
So I'll be out of CCL here, guys. I did take a couple of shots short at this. First one, it holds 16. I scalped some of it out on a 16 short. I get back in at 20s. It just took out the top for me. So, and of course, I didn't adjust my stop. So I accidentally went long for a brief second there, and then just got out, guys. So CCL, my journey is done in that one. Yeah, no, that's kind of horrible there. I see people asking for Valeria's trader journey. I think that would be interesting. That's just my humble opinion. You've seen all 3 of ours. Sean's doing fantastically there, so check them out on our Market Wisdom page, but I think it'd be interesting to see Valeria's. I always like to short any stock that tries to temporarily forego penny stock status, and so we get TNXP through $1 here. There was no bounce. Had there been a bounce off $1 and a big buyer, I might have stepped in and gone long, and I mentioned that to you guys, but if it continues to flush, I'll work it out in front of 95 cents, 93 to 95 or so in that first range. If it does test the bottom, I'll likely be all flat before yesterday's close price at 88. So there's another one for you on TNXP. Still in play, and I do also want to get over to VXRT. Don't want to get these two mixed up today. One doing 45 million in volume, 3 times the amount at 10 times the price. So don't want to mix these two up. This is a bigger boy here if you're watching VXRT. But it did make a hard rejection right around this like 950 area. Unfortunately, I wasn't looking at it for another $1 higher. 1050 was a level I really liked. It just couldn't turn around at that price. If it does have a second leg here, consolidate 850, there could be a long in this one, maybe through that 850, 860 price, testing back to 9 and then eventually 950. So watch out, VXRT looking. It's giving some back, but trying to hold and looking strong. Ignore this wick. It did not trade to 760. It's been holding 840.
Okay, finally we get a little bit of money here as play starts going back to the downside, so we're just reaching that. It stops at 80s though, so we're hoping for a little bit more to the downside here on play. We did hold some Microsoft. We told you we were waiting for this to come crashing back down, so this is now $1 in the money, but like I said, we are out of the majority of them on this break, and we did not reload. Just a little worried that it was going to continue its downside moves, but out there, Microsoft, you see VWAP's at 201 and change, so to the upside, so cash it out. Now we're really light on Softy. The sad thing out of all of this is the market has absolutely crashed and CCL is hanging out upside. So this is not going to work out or end well for me here for sure on CCL. It looks like I shorted, definitely put my money on the wrong stock here today, and that was CCL. Like if all I did was put the same amount of shares here on AMD that I have on CCL, we'd be cruising. But right now, this is $1 in the money. And we talked about that one with AMD not too long ago. We only took that 1, 2, 3, like 4 minutes ago, and it just came crashing down. You see the NASDAQ starting to give up the ghost a little bit here to the downside. So making that money back a little bit here on some of these names, but nowhere near. I had this opinion too early on the market, and now we're finally fading back down. But yeah, Microsoft, AMD, nice little wins there. We're not holding too much left. The only real disappointment for me here has been CCL, because we tried to go back down and we did get a little bit out there after all of this. But then look, I mean, market goes up, CCL climbs. So there you go. We'll have to wait to see what the eventual death of my trade is.
I still think you might have a shot there. I mean, we said this before, and I think there was separate news in the travel space as to why they're down. I gave up the ghost, like you steal a term from you, and say went from coast to coast to give up the ghost, and I try to give bad old music puns that nobody can catch, guys. So if you like them, let me know. You probably don't. I know you do like when we go to Valeria here, so I'll transition from that to something you're going to enjoy. Look, I always had to ask here. I mean, obviously it's been a fun one today. Snowflake play looking like it might turn out okay. So a couple of nice wins in here. We're getting a lot of love in the chat. But how are we doing in the likes? Yeah, I know the target. I want the 1,000, 1,500, and then we want a little bit of 2,000 action for some moonwalk. How are we doing, Valeria?
Well, Neil, some easy math. 5,000 of viewers and not even 1,000 likes. So, dear viewers, please be kind and like this video. Likes are in the air.
So our percentage is basically like Paul George shooting a 3, right? So that's under 20%. I mean, that's not very good. Apologies, Paul George, but what am I supposed to, like, you're throwing up bricks, testing the integrity of the rim, as a friend would like to say. So there you go. Let's do better than that. Thank you for the likes there. We got to do better than Paul George. Let's shoot them at a clip like, I don't know, Jamal Murray, maybe, if we can get to that 40% mark, guys. So let's get to 2K. Easy math. 2,000, 5,000, 40%. Brendan, what do you got?
We should probably talk about SPACs, guys. There's another one today. SBE up 4.5%. This is going to be charge network company ChargePoint going to go public through this SBE on a reverse merger with this SPAC. So SBE doing all kinds of volume today as well. You can see this news actually came out midday yesterday. Had a huge move up to 14. Price action not so great today, but worth a look, guys. SBE.
Okay, CCL, yeah, we will look at SPE as well. SPAC is there. We can check back on Nikola quickly. We just did take a little bit more short on CCL. What am I doing? Okay, CCL and Nikola right now. Nikola does fall back down. Still coming in at that 33 level. Real interest for me comes down here, 33 even. That's why we keep checking back. It was some bounce off spots the last couple, yesterday anyways. And then this morning, that's where we sort of took off from. Breaking through 33 right here would have given you a hell of a trade to the upside. Wasn't looking at Nikola, not sure why, but big move to the upside here on Nikola today. Watch out as it's coming back in, what time is it? 10:30. So yeah, VWAP going to come into play at some point. Again, I sort of would rather just wait to see this one, you know, have a few good days in a row. This is going to be 2 or 3 now, but we were as high as 54 on that GM deal. I don't think we get back there anytime soon, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, I don't know, yeehaw. I've been saving it up for this trade, but look, finally rolling over, testing that previous bottom on the, just going back to September 11th here, 1550 bottom on play. There was a buyer at 1570, so I'm not going to split hairs. I took it out in front of that buy, so we just got just shy of the dollar win that we're looking for, hanging on to the final third for a break of 1550. Now remember, they haven't declared bankruptcy, but obviously you see the gap down, you see the pressure they're under. We show you the daily chart here. You can certainly see if 1550 goes, I would expect a flush to at least 15, and if that can't hold, 14 even, certainly in play for you on Dave & Buster's. So there was some good breakout trades. No mas. That was a few weeks ago. Now we're to the short side. Finally, Dave & Buster's coming in for us here.
Yeah, Dave & Buster's, good look there. It looks like we got out of a little bit of our shares there to the top side on CCL. So, but we are taking more now, as it looks like maybe a failed break to the upside. We did get out at 40. That was our key spot, but we're taking more shares right now to see if we can't let this one come back to the downside right here. But there goes play. Yeah, man, that's been a big one for me. Needless to say, as we've been short. Like I said, though, the main problem is this little spot here, but we're holding it still to the downside. We're going to make some of that back. But CCL now, what a surprise, man. Takes me out at 40 and then falls back down. We got more shares back at 33 there. So CCL hits me out at 40, 41 for, I don't know, half of my position. We took some more there at 33. So let's see if it can finally fall to the downside here. CCL looking like it wants to off that failed break at 40, guys.
Yeah, and here comes that low. So watch out. If you're watching play here, 1550 about to break. This is the floodgate that we wanted to open up. I think we got a good shot here if we can get through it. Just going to level 2. There wasn't even much of a bid there, so it's not a guarantee when you pull out a level that you'll see a bunch of size sitting on the bid, even dollar, psychological level, previous bottom. Either way, it's looking like it wants to break. Let's watch to see if it holds 15. If there's a big buyer at 15, I would trail that one out, take what we've been given here, but otherwise looking for a bit more on the last third of this position. I do want to go back to Kodak. I'm not going to, obviously, it could have been a little bit better today, obviously, for me. It just sort of goes without saying, with a couple of shots short here. The initial one was okay. When you see buyers like that line up at a double bottom at 80, even maybe a little faster to react and not reload into this trade, it's still grinding higher and about to retest this 910 area. So here we go, broke through, slammed back down. Now, if only this 910 could hold this time, I will jump back into the short on the southbound side of 9 even, using 910 as a stop. But man, it has to hold one of these levels. Otherwise, I'm not going to join the party. I don't mind being second or third or fifth or 10th to short it. I'll join into a party like that once I have a level to work off of. And that 910 will reemerge as long as we can turn here.
Like, give me a break, CCL. Like, I get out there about half, and then it comes crashing to the downside. So what a bad out that was there on CCL. But hey, you got to stay disciplined and get out, but not good. If we'd still held that, we'd be much better off right now than we are. But we still have the shares to go to the downside. What's up, Beep?
Another one to look at here, guys. First Solar, they were out aftermarket yesterday announcing a big offering. So secondary aftermarket yesterday gapped further to the downside, 68, 67 area in the pre-market, all the way down to 64 now. We're coming into a little bit of support, but 10.5% for First Solar, guys.
FSLR, good name there for sure. We're going to wait to see here on CCL. Look at play, man. That's been a big one for sure. Hit the bangers on play today. Short again at 16, short here, short up here at 17. I mean, just everything's been short. And look at this, just continues to make itself, some downside pressure, needless to say, on Dave & Buster's, waiting for that report on possibly filing for bankruptcy. But I don't know. They still have some probably debt to go there. So I don't know. The equity is probably worthless. So we'll see how far down this one wants to go. Picking up a lot of steam right now and making that move down. We just did stop, though, at 25. Key level there, 25. Let's get out a little bit there if we can. And then CCL now finally making moves to the downside as well, guys.
Yeah, I'm back into Kodak, so it is what it is. We're going to fight this one again. I talked about this if it could hold 910, which it just did. Roll over. I'll take it when it breaks 9 even. I got 97 short. I'll give it past that 910 level. I'm just not going to be too stubborn holding it too far against me here, and I will take some off in front of VWAP. I'll definitely have a bunch more out in front of this 865 low that I talked about a little bit earlier. And if it breaks that, maybe a third of my position top to see if you get a bigger flush. At this point, given the strength it's shown, I'm not going to sit here and try to make it into a home run. It'll be what it is. If it's a single or a double, I'll be happy with that. Getting over to TNXP, I talked about this. Well, sorry, Brendan brought this one to our attention. And then I said when it broke $1, I'd take it short, which I did. I just got a little bit of my position out starting at 97. The target range was 95. So between 93 and 97 is where I'll work some shares out. At that point, if it breaks any lower, the next target range is going to be the pre-market high here at 94, and then 90 even a psychological level. So around 92 would be the average price target out on that one. So nice little break here. At this point, you can use $1 as a psychological level. I'll go. There's so much liquidity here. I won't have a hard stop. I'll let it trade above $1 and make a judgment call based on the amount of bid I see above that price. Looks like it's not going to be a problem for the time being as it continues its flush. Let's see if we can't get some more shares out here. TNXP for a nice little win. Kodak, though, immediately testing my patience, and that 910. Looks like we could have a loser on that one.
Yeah, patience tested all over the place today. It's been a fun one to trade for sure, including when we're watching here the NASDAQ moving around. We're trying to get some out at CCL. Do I have a bid at 28? I do. So we're going to get some out at 28 there, 27s, and hopefully on the way down as well on CCL. So good trade now on CCL, but we did take out, like I said, half of that trade on the upside there. Okay, Microsoft continues. We're still waiting for this 101.80 here. That's been a nice little low spot for us. As you can see, the NASDAQ does fail off there. And this is what I mean about being weak. This is what I thought when I'm trying to average in. Like, this is a $2 move straight to the downside here. So you got to hold on to some short just in case this market does crack once again. Look at AMD. Beautiful short up here. We're trying to get more and more, but failed at that. So we take a 1 unit short all the way down to view up. And that was an absolutely fantastic trade. We're still waiting to get hit at 15. Oh, did we get hit at 15? Yeah, we did get hit at 15.25. Okay. So a nice little win here on play. We've been short all day. I hope you guys are short with us on that one. And hopefully none of you had this short. So as long as you averaged in somewhere around VWAP, you're probably okay. Play still now. Now again, right now at day's low. And we have that. The roller coaster Neil today just continues on all of these names.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of roller coasters, again, I mean, of all the stocks, like today, like all the shorts that are working out, and it's Kodak that I can't seem to make work for me. It is what it is. I'm going to take another quick hit there on Kodak. I want to get you guys back over to a slow one here. And you know what? Actually, I see your super chat there on Givo. It's not on my quote board, but I'll quickly jump over to Givo here for you guys. Look, we try to cover these as much as we can. This one, I think I said this last time, and apologies if I didn't. It has to show me a bit above $1. I mean, you see the ramp up, the pullback, and I was calling the short and trading the short on the way back in. And I said, it's got to find a bit of a base. I would have loved it if it had been down to like 60, 70 cents. I think that's more of a spot if you're going to be gambling on these little penny stocks, which I don't know, I don't really suggest. For a day trade, for me, show me a bit above $1. It tried to hold out as a bottom. It flushed through that price. It's making a move today that is failing off of this price here, guys. So look, it's got to make a real move up. It's only 10% of it, and if it does make a break at that make a break up, there's definitely some room to the upside to play with. 20, 30% before you get a nice little return. If you're always trying to cash the absolute bottom, you're trying to be a bit too perfect for me. So I need to see some buying step up instead of a hard rejection every time it tries to get to $1. Brennan, what do you got?
I just saw the short interest in GEVO. It made me laugh a little bit. 131% on GEVO. I was just looking at Mankind here, guys. Huge move up on Mankind. We just broke $2 a little bit earlier this morning about here, but up to 210. Big volume spike, about almost 10% for MNKD. Going to check. Didn't see anything at first glance as far as news, but Mankind moving, guys.
Yeah, Mankind, they're always in, I think they're cancer? We'll wait to see. Maybe something developed there for them. But yeah, AMD, we're still waiting for this bottom. We'll probably take this out if we can get a near here, 74.58 for a nice little $1.30 win or so, if it can get down to this bottom. Yeah, maybe we'll wait around here, 74.75, in case we do get a wick back to the downside. But AMD, a small position for me. The only real position that I have on that's any sort of a decent size right now. Well, play has been great, but I've been getting out of play down here, as you can see. So this was my largest position here today, so that's a big winner. So we're happy. Not a big winner, but this trade here is a decent win. Like I said, we took too many shares here on the pre-market. So lesson learned. And we always talk about learning lessons, and I mean, every single day I can be doing this thing for 18 years and still learn lessons every single day. And I've said to myself that, wow, play, good little crash there. I said to myself that we wouldn't take positions pre-market, and I knew I put this one in here based on the fact that we were all the way up here, but play just evaporates, and then you see the market make a move up and then back down. But look at this, wow, what a good little runner this one's been. I can't believe we're almost back to flat on this stock, wow.
Yeah, it just feels, man, if 15 doesn't hold, I mean, that could get very, very ugly. Look, I see, and I'm going to answer the question here. People are asking about this EBO, and it's not the first time I've seen this. Look, it's halted 1, 2, 3, 4 times now to the upside. It's not only 1 million shares worth of volume. The spread is gigantic, and it's opening up and halting literally in a minute or two. For me, I'm always looking for two things. One, the first halt to the downside, or some actual stabilization to get into this. Otherwise, I understand you guys want to, buy and hold, and there's a parabolic move to the upside. Nowhere to dig in, I don't think here. There's not a lot of liquidity here, and I need to see it come back in and be a more realistic trade. You're basically gambling getting into a halt in every single execution you take in this. It's actually looking like it's going to halt down, so maybe EBON is going to be a bit of a trade for me, just not yet. But what we are ready for is EBON halts, is Sector Watch. Let's go to the screen with Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, let's have a look at the overall S&P 500 EBON. Definitely not in here, but that's eBang International. If you guys remember eBang from China. They designed circuit boards. I don't know. Anyways, we are still negative, guys. 0.8% for the S&P 500. A little bit of strength you can see coming out of the industrial group today. Everything else basically in negative territory. But just mentioned that GE, some positive news. AOS 3.5%. A few other names in here as well having decent days. 0.75 to 1% moves for some of the industrial names. So Caterpillar just popping up there, and 3M as well, up a full percent on the day. So look at the industrial group if you're looking for some relative strength. Healthcare stocks, financials, all in negative territory here today. Leading the market to the downside, it's this group here, tech stocks. Semiconductors, the entire group in negative territory, led by Skyworks there, 2.4%. Software names as well, FTNT, SNPS, Intuit, 3%, PayPal, 3%. ADSK 3% as well. You can see the trend. eBay down here in the consumer discretionary group leading the way to the downside, 5.4%. Amazon's here as well, 2.8%. Ulta Beauty, Tapestry, all the usual suspects if you like, 2+%. Consumer services, all the travel names here. We talked about it right at the beginning of the show. Those contradicting vaccine comments out of the U.S. yesterday, sending these names to the downside. MGM, Hilton, there's Marriott as well. Starbucks, a little bit of negativity, 1.9% for SBUcks. So outside of the industrial group, everything else very much in negative territory, including communication stocks. Just wanted to mention 2 days in a row for these three: Netflix, Facebook, Google, all 2+%. In the red, 0.7% now for the S&P. Let's go back to Sean.
Okay, thank you, Brendan. And yeah, we got to start getting out of some of these because the market be heading back north side. So we did want to make sure we captured some profits here, at least on CCL. It started to tank, man. We started getting out at 16.22 or so. This is like our average price. Like I said, we did get ticked out up here for a big hit. We reloaded a little bit, and now we started to get out back here. This is essentially where we were at, 16.20, 16.22. So that was a good average price down there, but you can see we've ripped back to the upside right now. So let's give it a little bit more room on that one. I still can't believe Dave & Buster's goes all the way down to $15 here off of a 17 reload. So that's a big win to the downside here. We did take some out at 15.05, now holding a very small percentage, like I don't know, 20%. I can't remember how much I had to begin with, but about 10 to 20% here still left on play. Just thinking that this has just collapsed. So we'll wait to see if it wants to collapse some more for us. But Microsoft all the way back up. We're holding very light. I think it's a good short here near this high of the day, guys.
You put a trail in on Dave & Buster's at this point. Just you can't let these ones get too far away from you and get too greedy here. Speaking of another one which basically been a good one all morning long, and it's actually at the bottom of our watch list. And look, one of the reasons why you want to sign up between 9 and 9:30, there's a lot going on and a lot for us to cover, and we got to get to Arun as well. So some of these names at the end of the watch list that are definitely worth playing, definitely worth looking at for trading opportunities. We might not get to coverage that I did mention very briefly because I was in position on NAK, but this was on our watch list, nice for trace and play. Gave one level, and one level alone was at 124 breakdown, and then talked about an iceberg at 116. Worth noting, it keeps holding in and around this level at 110 to 116, which is why I keep taking some shares off. At this point, it's pretty binary the last like 20%. It either breaks 110, gives me that buck or somewhere into that dollar ranges. Dave & Buster's die at 15. It just went through 15 even as I see on my other level 2 here. But NAC, if it gets that 110 break, we'll look for one even to get out. Otherwise, I'm going to give this all the way back to break even. A lot of times I put a trail on these, and it's always too tight. It's not happening today. It's got to go all the way to break even, or I'm getting my absolute target on NAK. That one's in the Amex.
Look at this, man. I mean, Neil just talked about it, but it's a banger for sure on play today. I mean, this name just keeps on moving to the downside here, and yeah, big move. So we'll keep talking about that. But Microsoft right here, we've averaged in a little bit against this high of the day, but look what's happening now. The NASDAQ and the ES is blasting off here. Like, I can't believe we may get back to positive after all the negative rhetoric and everything I read last night, and we saw from Powell and some of the commentary, the reversal middle of the S&P yesterday off of that. You can see, I can probably find it here where we tanked yesterday. Here it is right here. So everything's cruise. You can see the time, 2 o'clock here. It's 1 o'clock Chicago time. So the market just makes a huge move back downside there, but then stops, comes back in a little bit and retraces back for the rest of the day before falling off once again this morning and then making a gigantic move back up. This is the ES, not the NASDAQ. We're talking about the NASDAQ was even more violent than that. But right now, 203.60 is our short on Softy. We're going to give it just a little higher than the day's high on this one. If you take it back numerous days here, you can find there's some support and resistance up here at 205. Actually, it's just yesterday. You have to go back again. I have to load these charts. But 205, 206, some resistance upside on this name, but we're still far away. Does the NASDAQ still have juice in it? We're about to see.
Oh, man. I literally hit enter on a tweet saying I'm just putting a trailing stop on play. And, of course, that means I get trailed out, right? So it bounces off of 15. And, look, anytime I see this where it's an even dollar level like that, it breaks, snaps back after only like 10 cents or so. It has that failed break feel. That's what's going to make me put in a trailing stop a little bit higher. I'll lock in basically about $1, about $1.25, $1.40, depending on which entry you look at here. It's $1.50 for my best entry, as an average price, about $1.35 in that middle. So it's a great trade that you had to hang on to and show some patience with, of course. But if it does come back and maybe fail at 16, there could be another opportunity to get in. If 15 ever breaks, man, another dollar of downside I think is certainly possible when I look at that daily chart. Brendan, what do you got, bud?
I was just talking a little bit about the industrial group. There's one that just popped up. In fact, right on time in volume terms, anyways, through day highs here. For Fastenal, they had an upgrade and initiation by UBS today. So UBS initiating coverage with a buy on Fastenal. It's still down 1%, but taking out the highs, guys.
How can any short day not have included NNOX is sort of beyond me right now. And this one, look, and I've said this before, and I think when you get that watch list, obviously it's in email form. It's not like it's a piece of paper you can hang on to, but maybe jot down some names and certainly continue to go back to them throughout the week because NNOX, the volatility has been just through the roof. Of course, the short sell report that came out earlier in the week after a parabolic move into $68, guys. And it's just been falling ever since. It's not going to look like a huge drop in comparison to a couple of days ago. But this break here at 34, nice, clean 10% move at testing 31. I'm looking now at that $30 range, sort of. We've had this one for a while. We're looking at the initial drop. It's like 30.20 or so 30 and a quarter, call that, with the previous bottom here on NNOX. If you go back to the fourth, it looks like it might finally test that one again. If that breaks, floodgates could open up. But watch out. I mean, there could be a bounce off that price, and 34 would be that level on a retracement that I would have a look at one more time, guys. So NNOX, never too far away from action all week long. This one was on our watch list a couple of days in a row, and definitely worth a watch today, guys.
I'm just feeling like the NASDAQ is trying to break down, but just can't do it. This is the ES here, 33.50 needs to come into play here. We are short Microsoft right here at 60. Should have reloaded. I thought I did have a reload here, or an average in. Oh, it's above 204. So we almost got there, actually, 204.13 on that reload, but we will take a little bit more on Softy here, as it looks like it may want to break downside. I don't really have any key targets here for down, I mean, other than this 202.50 area, but nothing really on a break down. We're just hoping that it just kind of makes its way to the downside here. If the NASDAQ wants to crawl, then we'll take that. But CCL still, man, back to the high side 30s. We're short 34 right now. Good thing we got some out in the 20s there. What's up, Brendan?
It's the week of SEC investigations. Apparently, GSX, the latest candidate here, just popping in. 104, this is one of those online education companies. Apparently, there's some SEC rumblings about some of their business practices. So a big spike down here from 104 down to 100 almost, guys, on GSX.
Business practices, you say. AMD watching this one again up to 76. A good little spot there to start getting in some more shorts, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously love all the interaction, guys, but I mean, I don't think Sean or I are gonna jump into short something just because it gets put in there, guys. Obviously, I'm seeing a BL&K is going to be in play, and I'll get to it in just a little bit here. But I have to get back to a couple of positions. One of them that I do have on is TNXP. If we can find it, NNOX we just covered, but TNXP, I did try a reload here, and I talked about this a few times, the difference between a hard stop and an area stop. An area stop kind of means you want it to travel in through a price and make a judgment call, so you don't put an automatic order or script order that'll go in and then just get you out. And that's what happened here at $1. It traded above, showed a bit of a bid, but I mean, no one buying at 101, no one trying to take it through 102. So I didn't take the trade off. If it retests that same price, I mean, I was trying to reload on the way back in. I'm going to go away from that now. If it retests that price and does take out 101, then I can just get out, lose literally 1 cent. If it tried to wick me out, fair enough. I'm losing 1 penny on the rest of it and can look for a re-entry if it does fail again. But that's why I don't like a hard stop on something like this. There's plenty of liquidity. You look at the level 2. You don't have to worry about not getting a fill as long as you're watching it. So I don't want to get stopped out over 1 cent the first time through if it's going to hold, because that can be a nice little weak sign for me to hang on to my shares, maybe even add to it. So still in TNXP. If it does try again, I'll probably give it up 101 and look for another re-entry point, guys.
Yeah, and for some reason here, play just takes off there from 15. So good out there. We tried a little bit to get out there. Now we're just holding the rest. Very, very light position now on Dave & Buster. Just want to give you guys that little look that we did go to the backside there, averaging into Microsoft. So let's see how far this one hopefully wants to come back to the downside if the NASDAQ does break. We do have some Microsoft. Give it to us, Bren.
Another one just ripping here right now. BNGO, Bio-Nano-Genomics, once high flyer in virus land, but this is on the back of ALS. So they have a treatment they're working on to treat ALS. Apparently some data out to the positive side, obviously. So a nice move here for BNGO, guys.
And because I can turn any story into a shameless plug for my BlackBerry, my daughter loves to take this BlackBerry, well, it's my Android phone, and she likes to go BINGO and then sing the song over and over again, hitting the keys. It's literally, I find it cute, so it's an excuse for her to play on it, which is why she's going to get it when it goes in the trash bin at some point. I am going to get to this BLNK. It is moving to the upside here. And first things first. Look at this range it's trying to break out of here. You look at the chart, and it's going to sort of stand out like a sore thumb. It was $6 to $8, trying to break through here. You already have a parabolic move one time. The failure to get through that $8 high, yeah, that's kind of a setup that I'm gonna. I can't ignore it, guys. If it cannot get through that $8 and starts to roll over on a move up, I'm just gonna have to be involved in something like this. It's just one of those things where you start to see selling come in. At that point, a lot of profit taking is going to be had. That's sort of a breakout at $7, and people that are riding it in front of 650, obviously they get like 10% already, and if it fails there, they're looking to take some profit. A lot of traders will be thinking that way. That's why I like the short if it cannot break through 8 even, but it's 1050. Wow. Let's go to Brennan for Money Talks.
Hey guys, yeah, let's get an update on currency land, see how things are doing today. We talked about a little bit of US dollar weakness ahead of the Fed announcement. A little bit of a bounce back over the past 24 hours or so in the USD. So a lot of these in negative territory, including the Canadian dollar. Left the chart up there. We were talking about potential areas after the Fed release with the CAD that could come into play, but pretty tight action here still. This is all the way up to a 10-minute chart. So over the past few hours here, we're still kind of between that 76.5 and 75.5, but consolidating. Nevertheless, we are in negative territory, down about 0.25%, 75.75 to be exact for the Canadian dollar. The euro also red today, ever so slightly, but holding 118 at the moment. The British pound, same story, basically flat. We have both the Swiss franc and Japanese yen. They were both negative. The Swiss franc has gone positive so far. Japanese yen still in negative territory. Have a look at cryptos today. Yeah, we were talking about Bitcoin weakness right off the bat, still holding that 10,800 level from early on this morning, but down 1.5%. Ethereum, though, bounced back nicely. It was also in negative territory early on. Back to the upside, almost 4% higher for Ethereum, guys. Back to you.
All right, the market, I mean, what does this market even want to do, like, honestly? We're shorting some Microsoft upside. It's taking a little bit off piece by piece until we wait for a huge flush to come, and it may not. So that's why we got to get some out here. It looks like the market just is trying 33.60 here to the downside, to the upside. Now fails that just a little bit, and we're trying to go back down. This is the ES, right, 33.60. NASDAQ is just bouncing off 11.120, sorry. But here comes Microsoft, hopefully to the downside now. A decent little win here. We're We're short at 87. So just trying to get some out on the bid here on Microsoft, down to 65 right now. There it is, a nice little win there, slaying Microsoft finally to the downside. But it needs to go hell of a lot more before I get out of the majority of these stocks, guys.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly try to change the look here so you can see the snow a little bit better on my 3-minute here. But 242, we talked about this, been trying to be patient, waiting for it to break out of this range. And I think there could be a bit of a squeeze play on at this 242 level. It's an opening range top if you go for like the first half an hour or so. And then in the pre-market, it was a bit of a resistance before the big flush came in. So I'm going to take a scalp trade in here, try to take it off in front of a 250 if we can get in and get out and hopefully make $5. I'll be very, very happy with that because I think you have to have another look at this 250 to 251 level. It was a bit of a bottom in the post market and right at the close for Snowflake, and then you look at the pre-market high as well. So we'll revisit that trade if it gets to 250, but by then, hopefully I'm in and out for a win on a 242 break when it comes on snow. I know it's been a while since we got to that name. You knew it would be in play today, and we're not running away from it. It just need a specific reason for at least me to go along here, guys. I do want to jump back over to another name from a little bit earlier, VXRT, Vaxart. I was looking to see if we could hold 850, and that would have been a sign for me to maybe get a bit bullish on this one on a pullback that holds and take another leg to the upside. For now, at least, that's going to be out of the picture, as that obviously did break, as you can see here, guys. So, look, you have a plan of action to get into a trade. You can like something to a bullish side, but if it doesn't give you the indication, you just don't put it on, and that's got to be the way that you do it here. I think at least once or twice today, I think I forced it a little bit on Kodak, and as much as there were some good reads on it, I'm going to try and be a little more patient on this Thursday, guys. But I do need to jump back over to Sorrento here as it's approaching the low of the day, up 20%. Of course, we talk about the retracement in some of these names in this space. 950, I do believe I still have my order ready to go. If it takes out the bottom, I'm going to jump into a short trade on Sorrento, getting a little bit close to that price, but I see still just hovering below $10. Sorrento, not out of my mind, but I haven't taken a trade yet.
All right, it took a little bit off again at 49, 47, 48, 49, something like that on Microsoft. We are short now 99, 97s here. So 40 cents in the money here on Softy, trying to get this one to come back. CCL, again, is right at this top. We took one last stab. We're going to give it one more shot up here. Hopefully we can get this back into the 20s, but right now that's what that's doing. Wow, good on me for my investment accounts, though. As DraftKings today... And DraftKings today on NASDAQ. We got to keep switching from NASDAQ to NYSE. So if you see NQ on here, that's NASDAQ. NY is NYSE. And wow, DraftKings. Yeah, man, banger. Get those hot dogs ready for Big Ten football as DraftKings now at, I'm guessing, all-time highs here. DraftKings breaking to the upside. I don't know, maybe I get out some of this in my own account later, but don't have anything here. DraftKings moving to the upside now. 53.67, big time trade there. And finally, Softy breaking down as it looks like the NASDAQ wants to go, but unfortunately, this guy here, CCL, does not want to go. So watch out for me getting out of this one. But Microsoft breaking down. Valerio or Brendan?
Me first, and then we'll get to V coming up here in a second. It was interesting to see Penn, guys, with the upgrade today, but not DraftKings. But DraftKings a little late to the party. Just wanted to mention this one as well, Sorrento. SRNE just popping up here through 10. Broke to the downside, but right back through. Look at the volume coming in. One from the watch list today, guys. Sorrento just starting to go.
Yeah, that was sort of, I just talked about it, like maybe testing the low, and like seconds later, it makes that little pop up. So I guess back on the radar is at 1050 level. For me, I'm looking at this. I always try that opening range. If it's even right at the open or right before the open, I like that little top there at about 1070. I'll call it like 1075. I think that a lot of stops on shorts will be put at that price. So potential breakout on Sorrento, ongoing on volume. And this is the thing. It's 11 o'clock, guys. You want to make sure if you're actively trading in something, it's having some continuation of morning volume. Otherwise, not as much opportunity with it. So Snowflake falls into that category. It just fell down off of 240. I'm still looking at 242 for a long break on that one. NNOX is getting precariously close to that bottom that we were talking about a little bit earlier here, and I did have the 15-minute up. Can I see it on the 3? You'll have to trust me when I tell you 30.25 was that bottom on NNOX. When that goes, you're going to see me jump into the short party. It's actually 30 even. I'm sort of rounding that one too. Let it break the even dollar, and then we'll join the party. 34, if it does make any kind of a retracement, that was a 2-day bottom, almost like a 3-day sort of bottom going in, if you include the pre-market action here. If it gets back to that price, I would definitely jump into it to a short in front of it with a stop at that 34 even on NNOX.
Here goes with Martha. We still do have Microsoft here. Apparently, Valeria's new name is Martha, so let's throw it over to Martha at the big board.
That's so.
Hi. Hey guys, welcome to the European update. Europe mostly in the negative territory today. Britain is down 0.33%. Italy is down 0.93%. Spain is down 0.37%. And Amsterdam is leading down 1%. Mall operator URW is down almost 9% after a 3.5 billion euro rights issue. That's over the Europe, and I'll keep you updated. Back to traders.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know this, one of our awesome production crew a few days ago, last week, made a great, a joke involving Martha Stewart. And now we get random Martha comments. So Valeria doesn't have like a middle name Martha or anything like that. That's where it comes from if you guys are confused. And we hear in our ear, throw to Martha. And I'm like, who in the world is Martha? I didn't know she worked here. But so NNOX. And apparently that got us to 1,500 likes. I'm going to assume it's the trading and not necessarily the Martha joke. Thank you so much for the support. We'd like to see that moonwalk across the screen. Maybe we'll see it in real life at 100,000 subscribers. I'm not putting any pressure, but someone on our production crew can actually moonwalk. I'm not going to call you out on it. It's only 2 of you guys in there. But one of them maybe will do it live on the show. I think that'd be fantastic. NNOX bouncing off of 30. So this is the break I wanted. It's not coming through just yet. Showing a bit of strength, but not a heck of a lot of it. So we'll still take that short if it gets us there.
Yes, and okay. CCL does get taken out to the top. Now we're going to wait for 50, but CCL has been a fall in the hole type of trade. Pants down, how about that? Pants down on CCL today. That one fell through. Microsoft's been okay. We make money on this last trade here. We were shorting it to the top side. Nice little short up here, out. So Microsoft's been fine for us as the NASDAQ and the ES still trying to make new highs here. But Microsoft has been a good one, shorting it up to the top side now, just trying to play off some of these levels, waiting for a crash to happen. Generally, this will happen in the afternoon, it seems like, so we'll have to wait on that kind of a play, or we'll rip everyone's face off in the afternoon. So one or the other is going to be happening today. I don't think we stay still, but remember, election time coming. There's the first debate coming in 12 days, September 29th. I've already got that marked on my calendar. That should be exciting TV. And look, there's lots happening. No earnings coming through. We have COVID on the rise. The TikTok deal, trying to talk about that right now as well as we wait to see. Hey, look, if Microsoft gets it, this thing's going to rip. So I don't know if this is a smart idea, but apparently 24 to 36 hours, they're going to make some sort of a decision on all of this. So we'll see if Oracle does become the big winner that we all think it will be. And again, no political ties
Oracle
there, right?
just spiked to the upside right now at through $60. So, I mean, I don't know. You literally just said it. Did it become the big winner? If I can get a shot to just quickly go long in front of 60 even, I'm going to go ahead and take it here. We'll see if there is any news. But I'm going to risk 25 pennies on Oracle right here and just give it a shot.
Okay, yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. Oracle making moves to the upside there. We'll find out more about it. I see that it's being talked on some other station that starts with a C and ends with a C.
We don't know that.
And has an N and a B in front of it, but I don't know, or in the middle there. We'll find out about that coming on soon. Let's check out MLHR. We talked about Herman Miller early on the show, the maker of fine chairs, and yet, wow, 30%. I actually bought equity in this yesterday on this. I didn't realize we were up 30%. Big move up here, Herman Miller. Give us some news on something, Brendan.
Yeah, so no additional details as far as the Oracle-Walmart tie-up is concerned on what each is going to have to do with the TikTok deal, but they are now saying that both are in agreement with the new terms from the Treasury Department when it comes to this deal. So both Oracle and Walmart apparently have said they're all good with the details and the terms that they've come up with, guys.
So you just have to wait to see what the government says.
Yeah, that's not okay. So I literally just got out of that long. It took it like 25 when it broke. You're going to miss so much of this move here that, I don't know how much I'm going to give it. So it's going to give me a move like 25 up to 50, 60. I'll take it and run on that little punch trade, guys. I do have a little bit left of the position, but it's literally like 20% of it that I'll hang on to and give to that 60 level. Not necessarily groundbreaking, and I was sort of expecting that maybe there was a shot that was more definitive news there. So I'll give the last 20% of this back to 60, which you're going to talk about it here was the opening range top at 59.96. So if it goes through there, now the last little bit will be like a 25-cent hit. We've taken about that on most of the position. Otherwise, let's see if we can't run this one up to 61. It doesn't seem very likely given the reaction, the secondary reaction to the news, but you never know.
No, you don't. And we'll wait to see here what this all wants to do. We are going to go short a little bit of AMD right now as we are near that top. We didn't get enough up there. I was trying to get more, and then it just crashed down here, AMD, a little bit. But we are back to that high, 76.10. We've made that a couple times. So we'll give this short till that space there, 76.10 or so on AMD as we're averaging into that, and we're averaging into the short here on Softy. And again, man, I mean, there it goes. The NASDAQ's going now. So we'll probably wind up getting out of all of these as the NASDAQ's starting to go up, so is the ES. Short is not right today as we were down 3%, and now we're almost back to flat. I think the ES was down about 2% or so. That's coming back, and what I'm talking about is the NASDAQ just ripping up right now, guys. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Oracle. Like, I just sort of feel like, should we not be testing this like 60, like 75 to 80 area from the afternoon and the close? Nice support down there. This is where I thought we would get to in a move like that. So you could get like 40, 50 pennies on the second part of the scalp, and now I'm down to almost no position. And that's what I'm looking at. Hopefully here we can get more. We'll see what happens. It's just a little bit surprised it didn't extend a little bit further on that little pop-up. Maybe the algo's running out of steam on this day. So a couple of shorts on TNXP, NAK. But Oracle to the long side, I'm giving it to 6 even. My target is in front of 61. Brennan, what do you got?
A bit of a move down here for J&J shares. It looks like New York State announcing insurance fraud action against the company into what it calls the company's leading role in the opioid crisis. So this is going way back in time. But insurance fraud allegations from New York State against J&J. So a little spike to the downside there, guys.
Not good. Not good. Yeah, sorry for J&J. I love J&J as a stock, but yeah, never a good thing when the state is bringing something on you, especially fraud. So we'll wait to see. I doubt that that's going to go anywhere, but still something to take note of if you are a J&J shareholder. AMD trying to reward myself here with a win, but it doesn't want to go downside. So we'll scalp some out if we can down below 76. But right now we're short 75.99 here on J&J or on J&J. You got me talking Johnson & Johnson here on AMD. Microsoft also back into the money a little bit for us as it does rip up to the high here, but the NASDAQ is turning around just a little bit. Maybe it can start to flush here. Yeah,
speaking of flush, I'm just not going to get this end knocks. It's continuing its bounce off that level. So this is why you go to the higher time frame. This is why we went back and showed you that 30-25 even area. Obviously you get a $5 move and a break to the downside. It's going to turn around and slow down at some point. Psychological price also significant when you went to the daily chart and had a quick look at end knocks there. Last time it spiked down, it was such a hard turn. Even a resistance on the way up after that $20 open. So we're going to have missed a bit of that trade, but I'm locked and loaded on that level. I will revisit it. If it breaks it in the future, I'm still going to like it. Oracle trying again here to make another push to the top. I've already taken out a bunch of shares around 60-50 anyway, so it's not like I'm going to dump any more. I'm going to give it, try to test back to the downside to 60 even. Maybe I shouldn't give it all the way to 60 after that move, but I'm looking for a break of this high to take me into 60 to 61. See if we can't get the rest of this out here. Of course, we're pretty fortunate here to have our ear to the ground via Brendan, who has that icon terminal locked and loaded and ready to go. You never want to be trading blind, but he gave us this break on the volume when it did come. That's why we got it. That's why I got into this trade here. So far, a nice little win. I'd like to see it extend more, but you got to take what it gives you when it's 11 o'clock, guys. That's what it's all about. Speaking of taking what the market gives you, we're going to be dropping a video today on our Market Wisdom page about simplifying your trading strategy in order to make more money. I think it's an important thing. Obviously, so many indicators that you can have, so many ways you can read a chart. All these things can confuse people, and I feel like the simple ideas sometimes work best. So we dropped that in the video today. Let us know what you think about it. Hopefully you don't dislike it because of my ugly mug on there. As we get rid of that, I don't know where I went. Okay, it's all good, Randy. It's all good. Maybe that'll be good luck for my Oracle trade, which is now testing the high one more time. If it breaks 60.60, I'll probably move my stop up to the quarter and break even. Has to take the top off here. You can see I actually have a target order in nice little yellow here. So if it gets up that 60.60 break, you'll see me celebrate, maybe do that little backflip. No backflips yet on TNXP, which anytime I see this level of consolidation around a buck, it's going to make me like the short even more if it holds. But guys, I'll give it because I like it more and I've added to it. I'm probably going to give it a little bit past that 101 just because I've dug in a little bit at a dollar. And I just still think once we break into that 95 range, the floodgates could open up. The volume has died down, so the buyers have evaporated. So a key level break at this point in either direction is going to be obviously really good for my short, but I have a tight stop because it could squeeze if there is enough short interest right now, which it's hard for me to predict. I could squeeze it out. That's why I want to make sure I'm getting out relatively soon. Either way, it looks like it's going to gear up, wind up for a big move here. I'm short. Hopefully it's to that downside.
TNXP, yeah. Okay, AMD still trying to rip upside here. We've identified AMD before. We are able to get out of a little bit there. We identified AMD before as being pretty weak into a NASDAQ move down just because of how high AMD's been flying lately. So I do like this short, but we are going to get stopped out near the high of the day if it does break through. Brendan, what's up, bud?
Another one to look at here, guys, just taking the top off. X, United Steel, or U.S. Steel, through $8 there on a volume spike for United Steel. There was a positive note out this morning I just saw on the entire group, so the entire steel group. But this one moving, yeah, nice look here, 3.5%. We're at big time trouble levels on the daily chart, though, for U.S. Steel. Coming up, guys, keep in mind, in about a half an hour, yeah, Joshua Jackson going to be swinging by along with Daniel Cruz. They're going to talk about Liquid Media Group, the production company based here in Canada, out on the West Coast in Vancouver. Trades down on the NASDAQ under YVR. So stick around for that coming up in about a half an hour. Guys.
Yeah, that should be a good one.
I'm getting my popcorn ready for it. Figuratively speaking, we don't actually have popcorn here, which I think would be a good trading snack, but I mean, maybe I'm alone on that. Caramel, if possible, because that is the best form. I was going to take a long break in Snowflake. You can see it's retraced off 242, so no Moss at this right now. The previous bottom, that 288.80, I think we talked about this one at the open of the show. Certainly was top of the list on our pre-market sort of watch list there and our review at 9 o'clock. I'm watching to see if that can hold because I think there's another short opportunity through that same price. It's like not 230 for me. It's more like that 228 that we were watching before. So had some success shorting it so far this morning. Scalp trades worked. I tried to dig in and hold a little bit longer. You can see I stared $10 in the money and did not take it before getting trailed out. And then an accidental long, which I made money on. It doesn't really matter if you make money on an accidental position. Now, those things even out over the long run. 228 to the short side, 242 to the long side. In the middle, not touching it, guys.
Yeah, no, that's true. Keystroke errors, we talk about that on some of our videos as well at the Market Wisdom page. But yeah, they average out in the long run. Sometimes you'll make, and there's actually a funny story about Greg keystroked into some Tesla, added a couple zeros to a position, and it won for him. So every time that comes through, you do get stories where it's the complete other way around, man. It's like, oh man, I just took like 40,000 shares when I meant to take 4,000. And when that happens, man, just flush yourself down the toilet because the best thing to do is to get out if you can, if you don't take a trade that you want.
You know what's hilarious? People ask sometimes what I'm doing in some of these slow-moving stocks. Yep. There was a day where I was trading, literally spread trading a stock that wasn't moving, and I went to put 4,000 shares in a stock that usually has 1,000 or 2,000 on the level 2, and I posted the 4,000 to sell. I'm like, oh my goodness, look at this whale that just jumped in for 40,000 shares with me. And then it starts getting filled, and like by the time I had like, why do I have 5,000? She says, why do I have 8,000? Oh my God, that was me. I put an extra zero in there. Needless to say, I took a bit of a bath on that trade, but I just got out right away. I took the pain. It was a stock that you did not want 40,000 shares on the offer of that stock at that time. I was trying to sell out of a position, ended up with a horrible, it wasn't a horrible loss actually, but it was one of those keystrokes you just got to take the pain with. Speaking of taking the pain, it won't be pain if we break 60 bucks on Oracle. It'll be disappointing, but that's why I scalped out of it at the top end of that move. If you are late on breaking news like this, yes, you can probably catch some money on the high end if there's still room to resistance, which I thought there was a little bit more. But if it breaks back below 60, I'm not holding on to this trade forever. I'm not married to the idea of this here. We're still waiting to see if there might be some further updates in Oracle. So I'll take the money and run. It's the last 20% that I hold on to on that long break. It doesn't seem like it has the legs to go, guys. So unfortunately, we're not going to get the home run. We'll have to settle for the single on Oracle.
Yeah, we're going to have to settle for a bunch of double plays being hit into them. Look at it. Like, AMD finally starts going down, so we start to get some off, blah, 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 blah. And then in one candle, we rip up 50 cents here. As you can see, I could switch this contract over. The NASDAQ is just so heated today, man. All I've been doing is shorting. Look at this. Another break. So it just keeps breaking. Like, we did have some nice little trades on this short side, but it just keeps on breaking up. So NASDAQ right now leading the way and getting us into a bit of trouble here. Microsoft does go all the way to 204.40. We were waiting, I guess, at 32, I thought, to get some more short, and it misses us, 204.32. So we're going to wait to get some more short and then wait to see if Microsoft does keep taking that bottom out. Let's check out Tesla. Tesla's been a good stock to trade lately. We were in this early and lost on one of the only longs that I had. So 438 today comes into play once again. So watch out here if this market keeps getting heated up. Tesla probably breaks that 450 that we keep talking about, guys.
Yeah, and Apple's making its test of that 112 as we speak. It's yesterday's bottom. That's why I know, Sean, you mentioned it in the pre-market, but try to test through here. The only thing that gives me at least a little bit of pause is, where's my NASDAQ chart for you guys to see? You know, the NASDAQ sort of running into this sort of overnight high range without breaking it. And, you know, I don't necessarily love punching into the end of a run on Apple when the market's running into potential resistance. And again, I'm no expert futures trader here. It's just something that I know from my history. When I've made that entry point, I've been burned from it before, unless I was doing a quick little scalp trade. So that's why I'm kind of going to stay away from it in the short term, because if we do reverse off this and you just took Apple at the top, I don't know. So I'm going to stay away from that Apple break at 112. I know it's one of the levels I was looking at, but that's my reasoning here. You have to have a plan of action, and this one doesn't fit it.
Oh, man, like, good thing we got a little bit more short at the top there. We did get a little bit blown there on AMD, but that's okay, giving it to 76.50. But here we come back to the downside. So we took some more shares there at 30, and now getting into a decent backside win here on AMD. Although, look, see, now the NASDAQ crashes. Like, give me a break. Microsoft down nicely to the downside right now. We just took some off at 60. Then we'll take some off at 30. This is a nice little win for us. Microsoft back into the money now, another 50 cents. Still waiting for, see if we get a collapse down back to this area. 202, 203 and change would be nice. Getting some out here just on this little breakout. And then down here again, 202.65. So let's put our orders in and see if we get some more love for Microsoft. If this NASDAQ actually wants to go down, we'll see.
Yeah, and Oracle's going to trail me out here. I talked about it, guys. If it breaks back below that 60 level, I'll get out of that long position. So we did take a bit of a small win here. Unfortunately, I said it would only be a signal. That's going to end up being true, because as much as I got a lot of shares out in front of that 50 and 60 area, I do hold on 20% that I lose that much on the way back down. So back to 60. Maybe if it defends that breakout price, like 59.50, there's still something there. I saw this happen the other day where there was some consolidation at the original breakout, and then it was really good in the afternoon. If you sort of took that long off of it for a few scalp trades, turned into a bit of support. I just watch out. Like, always have a stop in Oracle or any of these, anything related to the TikTok news. Certainly, it's going to be ear to the ground type of thing. And if you don't have a real-time news source, which you do when we're alive in the form of Brendan, you want to make sure you're covered in the event that something breaks. You don't want to absorb the entire move when you know that could happen at any moment. You saw what happened, quick dollar move, and now we're tracing back in with Oracle.
44, yeah. What does this market want to do exactly? 1644 here. This has been a nice little spot for CCL. We're down on CCL. It is now with Microsoft coming back down. This is our worst stock today, but I do think there's a possibility here to break it even lower here. So we're going to wait on that one. And of course, AMD, we get squeezed out of that trade to the upside, but we did take a little bit more. We got squeezed out about 25. Then we take some more short at 30. Let's see if we get back down here. We noticed that there was some giddy up down here in the 90s. So that might not be a horrible spot to get out of some of those if we can. 76, 75, 90 or so on this short. We're short right now at 14 on AMD, so it's only a 10-cent win. But again, we're looking to scalp out of some of that, especially if the market does break, which it just does right there. So out some at 76, and then it pops right back up. But let's see if we can continue a downward move here on something like AMD. But we need the NASDAQ to go. I switch back to the ES. I keep going back and forth between all of these because we do have CCL, and I do like that as a breakdown play as well. But here comes AMD. Let's put some more orders in the 80s, guys.
And for those of you, I know that's an important point you just made there, Sean. So for those of you that don't know about the futures there, the NASDAQ futures and the ES, S&P 500 futures. So, if you're tracking to like tech or trading a tech name, you might be following the NASDAQ futures. You might be looking over at the ES, which is what Arun was talking about. So that's the S&P 500. So when Sean jumps back and forth, that's what he means. It can be something you trade as a vehicle. It can also be a bit of an indicator. I told you why I didn't jump into that Apple trade because of what I saw in the NASDAQ futures. So hopefully that makes sense to all of you guys. I know we can go fast at times and talk about these things. It's all second nature when Sean's giving that explanation. So wanted to make sure you guys understood that.
Okay, good. Yeah, and sorry about that. We do go by a little bit fast and furious, as famous movie there.
I heard they're going to space in the next Fast and Furious movie, and I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. But I guess there's people that'll watch all of them. I don't know. It seems absurd.
I don't know. I haven't watched any of them. So okay, back to except for at the beginning there, and I forget that guy's name who passed away. Paul something. Paul Walker, good name. I kept thinking Rudd, and I was like, that's not the right name. Okay, Paul Walker, yeah, and I guess Vin Diesel, I don't know much about that franchise, but it's pretty good. Okay, we are going to go short more. Microsoft, if it does break down back low here, 207.80 or so, a good little spot. We have a 65-cent win right now on that name, and a 40-cent win here on AMD, as we've been cashing out, like I said, in these 80s here for this name. So we'll get out some more AMD here. Microsoft coming down, NASDAQ coming down. Brendan, always ready. What's up, bud?
I just saw this Mosaic, guys. MOS quietly having quite the day here. We mentioned during the sector watch some of the industrials poking back to the upside. Look at this, 5%. For MOS, they updated their August sales numbers that were a little bit better than expected. So 18 down here to start the day. We're at 19 now. Big time levels on the daily chart for MOS, guys.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just noticing a lot of sideways action right now, consolidation and gearing up in Dave & Buster's. And I think, look, obviously, this was on the watch list. Anytime you're threatening bankruptcy or suggesting bankruptcy, it's going to be worth taking a shot at the short. And you saw the results of that. But now we're holding higher, 1540 to about like 1570 is a bit of a range. Am I going to short it if it breaks the bottom? Yes. Am I going to go long if it breaks the top?
No.
Only reason no is because, someone said in the chat, do you only go short? It's like, look, I got a negative sentiment today. I've been looking at short setups. They're threatening bankruptcy. I'm not going long. It's not that there might not be a trade there because, it could break and then squeeze up to like 16, 20. I'd much rather short this one through the bottom end of that consolidation. That's going to be my play if it wants to come in for me there. And if you like bad puns, I hate to be you, but I got plenty of them.
Just reading an email here. Good work on that, guys. Okay, AMD, we just cancel that. We'll be getting some out in the low 80s like we talked about before. We did see a little pickup down here. So a good little spot to probably get out of some of these shares now in this low 80s as the NASDAQ and the ES just bouncing around now off of a decent move down. So we got to reward ourselves. We can't just keep getting out of everything at the worst possible prices. We got to take some out on the way down to reward ourselves. So let's do that again here. We'll put a bid in the 80s with AMD right here. See if we get some 86s, 87s to go. And then we'll cash out of that. We're short right now at 23. So again, guys, 40 cents in the money now on AMD. We have to take some profit or that is just crazy. Microsoft, the same type of thing. We've been getting out of this. We'll put another bid at 300 here. Bang, that's a nice little 60-cent win. So backflip on some of these shorts now coming through for us on the NASDAQ. So maybe the afternoon tank is already upon us, but this is not a tank. We're talking about we need this market to come all the way back. I mean, look at this move to the upside. 33.15 to 33.64. Wowzers. It's been a good one. And I'm going to do something right now because we do have Joshua Jackson coming up, and we can hit that in a minute. So let's hit a slap shot for his movies. Mighty Ducks. Obviously, it's going to be Liquid Media coming through right now, but that's where you may know him from. So getting ready for that to come through very, very soon with Brendan at 11:45, guys.
Absolutely. And speaking of Brendan, there's like, look, when Brendan comes with these movers, obviously we've got the watch list for you every single morning, but you got to understand that Brendan is going to see anything and everything that is moving around here. He brought eBond to our attention. I said I don't like to touch these until you get a halt and then a hold downside. The problem here is my setup is always going to be a retest of the bottom end of that halt price. It doesn't get anywhere close to that 13 for an entry. So yeah, it was a good, nice little sell on the way back in. It's just not the entry I look for on one of these, and its liquidity wasn't the best. So I'm going to be very, very picky when it's as thinly traded as something like this is. Speaking of the man, the myth, the legend himself, let's go to Brendan right now for some news.
Just watching Delta, guys. Delta coming out, or it looks like the CEO making some comments in regards to how long it may take for them to get back to even the capacity that they saw through 2018 and 2019. They're talking at least a number of years, which is known already. There was also a little bit of a story this morning with regards to another Boeing plane, both Southwest and Delta apparently needing to ground a bunch of planes because of another issue with a Boeing plane, guys.
Okay, we just to give you guys an update there. Yeah, Delta will look over there. For some reason, I'm only really on tech today, although CCL has been my worst stock. Microsoft, we did take another short in here. I don't know why you can't see it, but it's in there somewhere. Short in here. Oh no, that's AMD. That's why you can't see it. Microsoft right here. Short right there. 202.80s, 202.90s. Sorry, on that break. Getting some out now in the 70s. Looking for a break downside on this market. If we can get it, that would be fantastic. As our average price right now is 99s. So right there, you can have this with me if you want it. Microsoft, we are going to get out if it does break back above this spot here, which knowing my luck today, that's probably what's going to happen. So you may want to get long on Microsoft, but I am short right now, 10 cents in the money. And look, a big win for us here today. One of the only stocks I have positive is AMD. So nice little short off AMD, now making new lows. We talked about rinsing it all out. I don't know why I keep saying rinsing. We're getting out of these shares at 75.80. So good trade there. Out again at 70 on that 80 break. So right now we're pretty light on AMD. My next target is down here somewhere in the 40s.
Sean, I got to put you on the spot here because I didn't trade Frog yesterday. So the price that you liked when it made that move to the upside and came back in.
No, it was just 71 was the IPO, and then I got out like 66.50 or so.
66.50. I mean, you look at that exit point. It's basically literally the bid right now. 66.50 on the rebound. Afternoon consolidation around 66 before flushing. It looks like it could be gearing up for a move here, and that's why I want to get your idea of where the significant level was. If it does break up, I mean, maybe you get back to that 71. I'm sort of thinking as sharp as that sell-off is, with the market sort of teetering where it is at lunchtime, if it goes sideways from here and can't break any higher, that 66.50 area may be worth a bit of a short. Give it to the high of the day here. I didn't trade Frog, but I wanted to see what those levels were that you're looking at.
Those aren't key levels. Remember, it just IPO'd.
Okay.
Like I had no idea. I was in.
That's why I was curious.
Yeah, I was in the money like $4, so I was just like, we'll take it out if it does go to that side. And look, we talked about Microsoft coming out here to 203.50 off my short, and yeah, it looks like it. I mean, I keep thinking this market wants to crash, and it obviously does not. So we're going to get out here very soon on Microsoft. Not going to really average into this one. We may put another little short on this name, but it doesn't look like obviously that this name wants to go down, nor does the market. We just had that move. We did capture some profits out, no doubt, short, but then we thought there was a bigger move coming right here, and there was not. So, but we were able to cash a little bit out, 70s, 80s, but you got to take more than 10 cents on Softy. So today, yeah, we're not at our highest point of the day so far today, as we need Microsoft to come back to the downside here. The market could still fail, so I'm still happy with it, but obviously would prefer a better price. These are the big shorts up here that we made a little bit of money on, guys.
Yeah, and so I want to go back to one name. I know we got a super chat, and we thank you for all the support that we get. And I know for the members that are watching, that are on that chat, you'll get the super chat, and it gets our attention because there's a lot going on through there. And I see something like Givo, and my initial thing is, look, I'm sort of favoring the short all the way back in from $2, at least 2 or 3 times as a day trade. You get a bit of a bounce, say it's up 6%, and then Brendan notes the short interest, which was absolutely insane. And if it can make any kind of a hold at any one of 3 levels, first one, of course, being 80 cents, which I already talked about, this consolidation in the afternoon yesterday, and also a bit of a bottom this morning at 88 or 87, And then maybe even right here, there was a lot of chop 92, 93. So if it holds in this little bit of a consolidation as well, because of the heavy short interest, any kind of a pop to the upside could start a bit of a squeeze. I think that would accelerate through $1. So not a horrible idea for a quick little short-term trade here. Not a fundamental play for me by any stretch of the imagination, but I think you're just looking to play momentum. Even having like a stop break, which I would put through the high, not necessarily at a buck. Because there might be some profit taking at that price. I think could be a play in GEVO. I would have normally stayed away from the long here, but given the short interest and the ability to maybe hold some of these levels in conjunction, maybe worth a trade in the afternoon. Nothing that I see just yet, but starting to prepare myself for the event that I might actually do that.
And a decent out on AMD. Wow, we get able to get out there at the 67 on a nice little crash side there on AMD. Unfortunately, though, Microsoft's not doing the dance that I wanted to. We are averaging in right now. Too softy here, trying to give it back to 203.50. I just wonder if the NASDAQ might have given it up here. This is the ES, but the same thing with the NASDAQ. The chart looks very similar. I wonder if we just may have seen highs there. Don't know, but the market looks like it could teeter down. Remember, we were down like 2-3% on the 2% on the ES and 3% on the NASDAQ at one point. I'll just change charts up quickly. If you ever see down here, look where this says NQ. Like, look how fast we just changed that. We have over 63 markets and a lot of different tools that we can watch here on in asset classes, for that matter, at Day Trade the World. So there's lots of opportunities here. Watch NASDAQ. We're just hoping that this keeps getting worse and worse. As my Microsoft position back to flat, we're short at 203 even. Let's see if we can't roll this down to 202 and change. 204, 202.50 would be fantastic. 202.1 would be great as well. So I'm just holding out hope here that the NASDAQ wants to roll a bit. And I think we got some good names on. We got AMD on and we got Microsoft on. And play Dave and Buster's. Sorry about anybody holding shares here, but this is down 20% in shorts, crushed. Look at it. We got the very bottom there. Just lucky. These are just little pieces. But yeah, good to see that on a chart all day long. That is for sure. Come on, Microsoft, do me a favor and let's see if we can break for one way or the other. But I would prefer it to the south side here, Softy. Let's go, buddy.
Yeah, and one that I see a lot of people talking about this one, obviously for good reason, is going to be Rocket. Have the 15-minute load here for you guys so you can get a better perspective on the consolidation it's had. It's going to seem like a tight range, but like $3 on a $20 stock is a lot. So this is the bounce range from 22 to about 25 that we've been sitting in since almost the beginning of the month here. That's why when you get this move to the upside, you're really only halfway to that party. Heavy resistance every time it's tried to get through 25 even. That's why I would expect you could have some trouble through yesterday's high, which is 23.70. But that's the level I'd be watching. I know it's at 23.50, the current top. But always look to see the previous day high. Where might there be some chop? You see heavy consolidation at 27.30. Some more chop a couple of days ago as well. And then that was yesterday's high. So that's the level I'd be watching on Rocket, 23.70. If it breaks through there, maybe a secondary push in the afternoon. If it fails, when it goes to 50, can't get through 70, rolls over, probably worth a bit of a short on the day trade end. So there's Rocket for you. Usually a stock we're all over, but there's so much this morning that I knew this would be a problem. And I find every time I trade more than like 7 or 8 stocks, it's usually that extra 3 or 4. They're not helping the P&L at all, so I'm trying to be a little more disciplined with that on today, where oddly enough, Kodak, which was so good for every day this week, with the exception of today, I will revisit that one in just a few seconds here. But Daryl just ordered another sweater. I got my hoodie at home. I'm good to see you guys are enjoying some of the merchandise there. I have the black hoodie for Trader TV. It is what it is, guys. We have a little bit of fun with it. Speaking of fun, Penn, if you're a holder of Penn, certainly having a lot of fun today. Just watching it roll over. There was a breakout, like a secondary, third, tertiary, fifth breakout, whatever you want to call it, at 73. It's rolling back over into this price range. Usually something I'll take a shot at if the market really starts to flush and it breaks 73. A scalp trade into 72 and VWAP. Not a horrible idea. I would not give it too much room here. More of a momentum play. It doesn't go very quickly. I'll dump out of that one. It's a strong stock. If you're counter trend, you always want to be careful, guys.
You can hear me under my breath like every single time the market tries to go down, it fails, man. Like someone is here trying to hold this market up, and it's really starting to get me on edge here, because I really think that we should be able to fall down here off some of this. We did have some rejections up here on Microsoft, kept trying to go. These big wicks rejected back to the downside. There it is. Bang! Nice little win there. Hit the sirens. You want it, Mr. Wheelie Man. You want it, guys. There's a little banger for you. As we start to head back to the downside, the frustrations are continuing to mount, but we have some bids out there to take out some profits. 202.50 down here on Microsoft. If we can get that, that'd be fantastic. 25 cents now into the money. And yeah, you want to talk about money, money, money. We'll rain some down right now as AMD looking to create some action back to the downside. We are short this one. 73 cents in the money. Let's put a bid out right now at 50 or 53. Get out in front of this 50 number. But there it is again. The market tries to go right here, tries to crack down near its lows and stops. So let's just see if we continue to make some continuations downside. This is the NASDAQ. You can see some failed tops here. I believe this was a push they just tried to get. They couldn't get it above. So let's see if NASDAQ wants to fail back to the downside. Target, not the ultimate low of the morning. That would be fantastic. Then I'll be doing backflips, not even the graphic. I'll just do it on the stage. But we'll see here. 1,000. If we can get into this area here, 11,030. Let's just call it 11,000. Okay, that was the bounce spot there. If we can get back down to 11,000, that's great. But look, another rejection of the downside. Needs to crack 11,070 here, guys.
Yeah, and look, I talked about this when it started making a bit of a sideways move here into Dave & Buster's. Look, you saw Sean and I both have success in Dave & Buster's. I'm going to go out on a strong limb and assume he's not long this break of consolidation. I know I'm not. And I told you the reason why. It's just, it's not that you have to have a bias on a particular stock. Sometimes it can help. Sometimes it can even hurt you. But you know, if I hear the word bankruptcy and the first day and you have a successful short trade, look, it's just not breaking hard enough or enough volume even behind that sort of move to get me to take that long break. If I saw the same thing in a stock that you like, counter trend, maybe when the market's falling, you want to do a dip buy. We've done that in NEO. Sean does it all the time in Apple and Microsoft. In those situations, if you are willing to look for the long, then you look for that little bottom pick. And I was trying that a couple of times this week. Now, I'm not going to do it with play. It's just not in the frame of reference for me for that type of a setup. It can look good on a chart, but if you don't like it on some fundamental levels at times, you are going to stay away from it. And I'm going to stay away from it. That's why you're not going to see me jump into the long in Dave & Buster's. Speaking of moves, I will get you back to this slow one here, and it's a bit of a snooze fest. Sometimes winning trades can be snoozers, and this one has been for me. I shorted this one time in NAK at the bottom end of our watch list at 124. It gave you your entry point here. That's why I try to point it out to you guys. Right in front of that 125 consolidation. It's still holding this 110. I mean, you can even see I put this order in at the bottom, and literally an hour ago. If it ever breaks the 110, just in front of a dollar even, I've already made the 10% move. I'm only hanging on to 20% to see if we can get a bigger flush. Stop is at break even at this point, so it's a binary thing for me. I'm willing to hold it all day long. It either goes out of the money and I get out for a penny or two of a loss, or I get the last 20% for double the win that I had earlier, guys. So this is what I'm doing here. It's lunchtime. Not going to force into more of this trade. As a scalp, it's not a horrible idea if 110 broke to jump into that short and maybe catch a few more. I'm going to stay away from that one, given the sideways action in the market and how sleepy this has gotten. Because there's no volume, that's why I'm probably not going to put more shares into it at this point. I can just stick with what I got.
Yeah, okay, and 203.61 or so. Again, I mean, I keep falling on a sword here with this Microsoft trade, but we're going to wait to see what the damage is going to be on the upside of Microsoft. We just took some more shares short there, a decent number once again at 203.10. So yeah, we're loaded back upside now, or downside. Back up to the short right now on Microsoft. So let's wait to see. Great out down there, 202.55. I don't even know how I got that. The wick doesn't even show it. So 202.55, good out of the little bit there. But again, just getting out ahead of 50. We did talk about that. Now it's making moves back to the upside. Like I'm short Microsoft here, but really AMD, my number one stock today. So we'll hit the cash register for AMD as that's looking like it wants to continue to make moves down. Let's just hope the NASDAQ follows AMD here. And makes the move. NVIDIA, Neil, another name that we haven't looked at today. That's been weak. Like, how come everything is falling except for Microsoft? Like it as a shareholder. Do not like it today, though. Microsoft, very frustrating for me. Let's just hope we get this back into that 203, 202.50 area, and then that move will start. Let's just go.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, look, ultimately, it's all about having that little discipline in there, and like don't trade your book. You got to be willing to go both ways. So like Sean can be sitting there, and he, obviously he's going to be a perma bull, but you have to look at the trades that are there. MNKD just sort of breaking down through the bottom here. And as I brought it up, I'm going to have bungled this one. I say it, look, I've probably said this probably far too many times. My first inclination when I'm on the show sometimes is to jump in, see something that is interesting to me, and instead of just immediately hammering the bid here, I tried to bring it to you. I saw this consolidation, and then it really started to test this bid at 205. It just broke and gave you the immediate scalp trade into $2. So that's sort of come and gone. Normally you could hammer that, get fours out to 2 or 3, or 2s or 1s. If you've got direct market access, it can be worth that kind of a trade. But it happens so fast. You see the volume spike down here on MNKD. It's going to hold this 2 even, it seems like. I'll probably play a 2 even break on this to the downside the same way that 205 just happened. It's just that tight consolidation. The other factor here is this reversal after a few days worth of a breakout to the upside is turning right around at this that 212 level. It couldn't get through that here, so it's already coming back in. If it ever breaks above this 215 and makes a secondary run, any reversal at 250 I'll be involved in. If we get that one, like probably not today, but maybe tomorrow, a little bit later on in the week, even next week, guys. Go to that higher time frame, see where people might be taking profit. Where's someone going to say to myself, if it can't get through that, and I'm long in $1.60, let's get out of this bad boy before it starts turning around. That's where your mindset is as a short seller sometimes, and that's what I'm looking for here. Looks like I just missed a shot at 205 to the downside.
That's unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable, the kind of trading that's happening today for me. I mean, thank God we were able to reload that back up, but, we did get out of Microsoft up there. Like, we would have double the shares. Look at this market crashing down, arrows down. Big win for me, though, but we should be having more shares as Microsoft comes to the downside right now, getting some out 57s. A nice little 65-cent win to go on Softy. Finally, there's the break spot. Boom! Nice win here as we hit the fireworks. Finally, the short has come down a little bit for us here. A nice little 70-cent win on Softy. A beautiful dollar win right now on advanced micro devices. So, hell yeah. And we'll hit a slap shot as it's almost Stanley Cup final time. But nice little win there. Let's keep it going to the downside right now. AMD, kaboom. But really, it is Mr. Softy that is bringing me back to life. Let's go.
And so apparently, is the conference final still Tampa Bay and the Islands? I had to look this one up.
Did Tampa Bay win last night? Yeah. Okay.
I actually don't know.
It was Tampa Bay Islanders in the conference final, but
yeah.
I don't know who's representing the West.
As a Canadian, it's probably a little bit embarrassing not to know about hockey, but apparently the U.S. Open, which I know you guys are going to be
I'm in a pool for that as well.
What's the name of the big boy? Bryson?
DeChambeau.
DeChambeau. Yeah, that guy's a bit of a bear, and certainly a fantastic golfer. No, I mean, like he's a beast.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean, really? The guy looks like could be a football player.
The guy's a monster.
Playing the golf course.
Also some sort of a scientist as well. So, but bye-bye, chicken dinner winners are finally upon us here. Barbecue your favorite chicken tonight on Microsoft. Thank you so much for keeping the downside moves here on Mr. Softy. We're getting really, really close to VWAP, Neil. And the funny thing is, I put on my hat and celebrate this, but we did talk about it coming back down here to VWAP, so we got to get a little creative and start to get some out, even though we are expecting a monster flush. I'm not going to look this kind of a trade in the face. We have decent amount of shares here. We're making back some of that money that we gave up early on. Look at all these executions on Microsoft today, guys. 104 fills on Mr. Softy today. Wow, I'm tired already, but it's 11:45, so we're getting close to wrapping up the show, but it's been a fantastic one. Thank you to all of our viewers, and we do have quite a nice interview coming through that I know a lot of you are excited about with Liquid Media, so Brendan's going to be taking that over very, very soon. An interesting story. Neil's talked about a lot of games, interesting catalog as well, so find out from them what's going on, and that's coming up very, very soon. But here goes Softy. I need to stop talking, Neil, and start getting out of some of these winners.
Yeah, and we're going to get to the quick second, guys, but I just want to note I just got into Dave and Buster's here, breaking the bottom. So it tries to take the top off. I just got the short when it broke the bottom end of the range, so I guess this party is not over. The party on the show is definitely ready to continue, guys, in just a few seconds or minutes, and when we get our guest coming through. I know you're excited. We're all excited. I'm going to be putting my listening ears on because I'm going to learn something about a space I'm not too familiar with, but I think is going to be very, very interesting. So we're excited to have both CFO and the chairman of Liquid Media coming through. But I'm back in Dave & Buster's, everybody. So I'm not going to give it to this little high here. The previous consolidation level was like top end 1565, 70. That's the range I'll give it to. I don't want to throw away the money we made this morning. But back into the shorts, it just feels like a shortened kind of day, Sean.
I mean, that's why we're finally hitting the sirens, because we were in hella trouble. But now Mr. Softy has come back to life a little bit, and now we're getting the south side now, especially AMD as well. Some of those GPUs, semiconductor stocks starting to head southbound here. The NASDAQ trying to give up the ghost. We were talking about it being up 2%, down 3%, now looking to be down 2%. Tried to get going there. This little push, to me, they did not get it above these levels here, 1120. So that push was a fail. Then you get the breakdown to the downside. So now making a lot of sense, but we are now looking at a decent move downside. But we are rocking and rolling now with our guest of the day. Let's throw it over to Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, it is that time. We are thrilled. We've been talking about it all morning long. We are absolutely thrilled to have the guys from Liquid Media Group joining us for the first time, obviously, on the show. Chairman Joshua Jackson and CFO Daniel Cruz, director as well, Daniel Cruz, joining us on the show today to talk about Liquid Media. It's been a busy week for the company. It's been a busy week for both of them. We very much appreciate both of them taking the time to do this with us today. We'll bring them on anytime, guys, and there they are. Good to see you guys. Thank you again so much for doing this with us this morning. We appreciate the time.
Thank you for having us.
It's obviously been a busy week for you guys. We'll get to the developments. I want to talk about the announcement yesterday that came out. We'll get to that in a second. A little bit of background first. Josh, will come to you first. Obviously, best known for his TV series roles in Dawson's Creek, in Fringe, most recently in the star-studded cast of Little Fires Everywhere on Amazon and Hulu. Was fantastic, by the way. That was, yeah, if you haven't seen it, guys, please go out and watch Little Fires Everywhere. It's been out for some months now. But let's go back to the beginning. Josh, you grew up obviously in Vancouver. Both of you Vancouver natives, but got to start in the industry at a very young age, which gave you a very in-depth look and a very early look at both the quality of work and the quantity of work coming out of the Vancouver entertainment industry. So a very interesting perspective in that nature to kind of tie things back around now to be going back into that market with a production company.
That's exactly right. So, I mean, obviously I started when I was 11 years old, so wasn't exactly looking to starting a production company at that age. But it gave me a very, like you said, a very in-depth introduction into the business from a very early age. And I was able to start my career in Vancouver and then have a parallel career down in the States and be able to see the differences between the American system and the Canadian system.
Oh,
and
yeah, go ahead, sir.
Well, and just by being able to have that to compare, I was able to see how the work and the material was approached from the business side in very different ways on both sides of the border. And so as I got older and I saw the landscape of the industry shifting, this is where I got into the conversation with Dan, who we've known each other since we were almost that young, actually. And I got into this conversation with him around the shifting landscape and how there was a missed opportunity in the Vancouver market and broadly in the Canadian market, where we have generally been the people who did the work, but not the people who owned the material. And I saw that there was a real gap there, because if we have the capability and the quality to be able to do the work, it just takes a little bit of appetite for risk to be able to ultimately own the material. And the shifting landscape inside the broader entertainment industry opened up the doors for new and smaller players, such as Liquid, to be able to actually take real ownership stakes.
And I love the aspect of transitioning from one side of the camera, if you will, to behind the camera in many facets. Was that something that you maybe always had an interest in, the business side of things, or was it something that came a little bit later on?
Well, when I was a kid, I was just a kid, right? So I was mostly happy to be on set, but I was also a curious kid. So if you're willing to, open your ears and pay attention, people will educate you along the way. And I had the opportunity to keep on working consistently through my youth and work through my early 20s and my mid 20s. And so at a certain point, I found that I had accumulated a lot of knowledge around just the business end of the business. And it seemed very apparent to me, and we're going back, 5 or 6 years now, that what happened to the music industry was going to happen to the film and television industry once the bandwidth was wide enough and broadly enough distributed. And my assumption was it was going to take a little bit longer than it did, but here we are. The streaming takeover of the industry is now, I think, locked in stone. I mean, I personally don't see the theatrical experience ever coming back to the place of prominence that it was pre-COVID. I think the trend was moving towards streaming being the primary way that people take their media, and that media companies monetize their material. And I think that's probably locked in now. I think we have just hit the fundamental shift in the business that we at Liquid have been predicting and positioning ourselves for.
Let's jump into Liquid here. I want to bring Daniel into the conversation as well. Give us a background, or a little bit of a look at the background of how you guys connected when it came to establishing the company, and where did the actual concept come from?
Yeah, thanks, Brendan. So, the concept came from, I was in the capital markets. I worked at a Canadian brokerage firm called Canaccord Genuity, and I also worked at another brokerage firm called Mackey Research. I loved the capital markets. Actually, just seeing Sean and Neil at the trading desk there doesn't quite make you want to cry, but just about. It's something that I love, and I think it's so admirable and entrepreneur to be trading and be in the small cap market. So that's all I've really ever known. And being lucky, coming from Vancouver, driving around seeing Deadpool filmed, and Hollywood North just literally right in front of your face, and being lucky enough to know Josh from the high school days, it was something that was kind of always on my radar. I always invested in small cap issuers, and Josh approached me. It was on the set of Fringe, I believe, and kind of the classic story, sitting in the trailer with him, and he said he wanted to get into business more hands-on, and what did he think about? What did I think about the investment sector in film finance and gaming? And I did some research, and I noticed the sector is, if you want to say it's a $500 billion annual business at the moment, which is quite accurate. You don't see exposure in the TSX or the CSE or even the NASDAQ on small caps. So, I saw an opportunity, and, Josh gave me a firm push, and, I sold my business in the brokerage industry and came all in on Liquid Media Group, which, our ticker symbol YVR is obviously for that pure play respect the Hollywood North.
I was going to ask you about that, because obviously the airport code for Vancouver. So a nice little shout out there to.
You have two Vancouver homers on
right.
your show.
Right. So I love that. I love that. You don't often see that when it comes to ticker symbols. Josh, we touched on it briefly, but let's get back to the production side of things. There's been a bit of a blurring, I guess, is the best way to put it, when it comes to production of TV. There used to be very defined, production of TV, movies, digital media. Everything seems to be kind of rolling into one these days. Talk a little bit about how maybe that has begun, and what has been some of the push, I guess, for you guys to further your exposure to that.
Well, the push came from really the expansion of the. We're going to go way back here, but the expansion of the cable television world. So, in the world that I grew up in, there was 3 channels. And then 4 channels, talk about the States now. And in Canada, really 1 channel, and then 2 channels and 3 channels. And once we went to a cable system, there was an explosion in a demand for content, because suddenly we had a bunch of different channels. Now we would call them platforms, but we had a bunch of different channels that needed to be filled with material. So that's actually the seed of the streaming wars, even though everybody likes to think that the streaming wars is a brand new concept. But what the streaming wars have done have accelerated the process of that demand for content. And by its very nature, obviously, anything that is on the web is global. So suddenly your audience base went from North America to the entire planet. So this continuing process of acceleration is what has fed the business, both in production markets like Vancouver. Toronto obviously is a gigantic one. LA and New York are the traditional ones. And so the blurring of the line between, say, a traditional film, an hour-and-a-half piece of content, and a traditional TV series, which is 24 one-hour pieces or 22 one-hour pieces, into 4-hour miniseries, 8-hour miniseries, that is all a result of the growing demand, growing global demand for English language content. So that is the genesis of the idea that I brought to Danny all those years ago when we were sitting in my trailer on Fringe, is I see this trend accelerating and I don't see it going anywhere. It's not a fad. This is just the footprint of the business is going to expand, and it's going to expand permanently. And I said we're Vancouver homers, and I will happily cop to that, but it just so happens that we grew up in a place, it's part of the reason that I'm an actor, frankly, because I had the opportunity in that city, but we grew up in a place that has one of the largest clusters of production capacity on the planet, but hasn't yet been consolidated in a smart way. So there's an opportunity there as well to take the really high class, like global level talent that is already in Vancouver, that is already working on name brand material, put it together in an intelligent way, and consolidate it into what used to be called a studio and now is called Apple or Hulu or Amazon.
Wide-ranging products, exactly. Let's talk about COVID here. Obviously, top of everyone's mind these days. How has the pandemic really affected both the production industry as a whole and maybe some of the work that Liquid Media is involved in this year?
Well, so I'm not going to take credit for this, that we planned for this. Obviously, on the physical production side, COVID has been a disaster. It basically took our entire industry down to zero. And we are just now starting to get back into physical production. I'm actually starting work in a couple of weeks on a new show. So we're kind of guinea pigs. And I think, slowly and cautiously, the industry will start to come back. However, for Liquid, we work more on the digital side of things right now, though we do have aspirations to be in the physical production world. But since we work in the digital 3D, 2D animation world, it actually hasn't, there was a bit of a hiccup for us in the initial phase of COVID when we had to take our workers into a remote scenario. There's a little bit of security protocol work that had to be done around that. But in general, it is something that we were able to transition really nicely. And that's another place that I see, in the interim period between now and when the physical production side can get back to where it needs to be, I see the animation and digital side actually filling that gap, the narrative gap. Because in the moment that COVID happened was an exponential expansion of the streaming platform. So Disney needs to, I guess it has library content, but Disney needs new content to be able to continue to expand Disney+. Apple doesn't have library content, so they're really in a pickle here with how it is that they're going to be able to fill out their content offerings, and animation and digital is going to be one of the ways that I believe that they're going to have to do that. So the demand hasn't gone away. It's going to force the industry to adapt in ways that it probably wasn't looking to. And I think we're really well positioned to be able to take advantage of that.
Let's talk about gaming. Let's talk about this digital world a little bit further. Both Joss and Daniel presented at the H.C. Wainwright 22nd Annual Global Investment Conference. Want to make sure I get that right. Yesterday, virtual this year because obviously the pandemic. Give us the news, guys. What was the big development?
Well, the big thing for us, so earlier this year, again, I guess I should probably, maybe we should brag more, Dan, but
please, by all means.
We should probably say that we planned this exactly right. But earlier this year, we purchased a suite of tools that we intended to turn into an e-commerce platform for ourselves, and also to be able to use as a white label product for other companies. And then COVID happened, and the acceleration to pardon me, digital distribution got a second boost of rocket fuel. And so the big development for us is that we've kind of repositioned ourselves right now to focus on that platform. We have the product launch is coming towards the end of the year. We believe that there is an opportunity, like a kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity right now to build out a digital platform offering and bring it to market at a moment where most of the world is having to take their content in that form. So that's really the big development for us. And it's just, we're in a good industry at a good time. The reality for the entertainment industry, as terrible as the broader news is, we are a counter-cyclical business. When things are down, people want to be entertained, and we are in the entertainment business. So we think that the future for us is pretty rosy right now.
It's a very interesting space. I mean, you mentioned a few names there, but names like Apple, names like Microsoft, even Amazon this year announcing, subscription-based type online gaming platforms and cloud-based platforms. Where do you see this? Where do you see this going? Maybe talk a little bit about as well the library that you guys currently have.
Yeah. So I'll talk about that. I'm a gamer. I still remember, Duck Hunt, right? Like day one, Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt. It's something that literally changed my life, and here I am still talking about video games. I think Josh and I, and a lot of people around the world, I think, grew up. Obviously, Canada, we're playing like EA hockey, NHL hockey. These old retro games are something that until now, because the big tech companies. You couldn't play it on an original Nintendo. You couldn't play it on an original PlayStation. But what we're actually seeing is a lot of the manufacturers are actually bringing back some of these old catalog games to new systems. So, Xbox is coming out with a new system. I'm a PlayStation guy at the moment. So, I got a PS4. Nintendo Switch is bringing back some old catalogs. And there's some really interesting things happening in the PC space. So, as Josh said, we realize there's a marketplace that's converging with film and gaming. And, we think we found a sweet spot with some of our retro games, and we want to bring them back to market. And we're really focusing on that.
It's a very exciting space and a very exciting time, guys. We very much appreciate your time this morning. It's very early on the West Coast, and it's almost lunchtime here. We'll wrap it up at that. Joshua Jackson and Daniel Cruz from Liquid Media. It's been a pleasure, guys. Come back and give us an update, won't you?
Will do. Thank you for the time. Much appreciated.
Great to speak to both of you guys. An absolute pleasure. Guys, go check out YVR on the NASDAQ. That's Liquid Media, the only Canadian production company listed on the NASDAQ, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Let's go back over to Neil and Sean.
Even Buster's short, but I mean, funny, but NBA Jam they got, man, and I'm telling you,
love NBA Jam.
We come on,
there's
we love that.
Tournament edition. There's like a bunch of different kinds of NBA Jam. I love NBA Jam. Glenn Rice, I talked about that with the threes. Great. I think it was Charlotte, him and Alonzo Mourning, a very, very hard to beat duo there.
Unbeatable team. It was an unbeatable team if you had it there. I did take another scalp trade and play, but we'll just round out here. It broke that bottom end range. I took almost the 2/3 out of it in front of the low of the day, of course. If it breaks, we're back into it, but a relatively tight stop here, guys. So just want to make sure I updated you guys on that last little thing. It was a great and fantastic interview, and of course, Sean and I would also like to extend our thank yous to both Joshua. And,
I did want to say too, the chat is kind of lighting up. A lot of traders now looking at YVR. So thank you very much for that, and good job there by Brendan and Neil. We got to wrap it up, but we are going to also, guys, go arrow down because thank God, and it's not good when you do that, but we are now short Microsoft and just rang the registers on that one. We're back and we're alive and kicking. AMD as well. Look at this short. We're still holding on. Probably going to get some out. We're right at VWAP right here. And then CCL, just to wrap it up, another mover. We've been averaging short. Got crushed on it early, but now it's coming to pay in. So I didn't think we'd make 300 trades today, but I did.
Damn. So that's a wrestling thing, you guys. I don't know, whatever. Farouk, that's the old wrestler uses catchphrase. But anyways, we do have one more thing we got to get to before we get out of here. And as always, National Day is going to make me hungry at lunchtime. So let's go to Valeria.
Thank you, Neil. And hey guys, I hope you enjoyed today's show. And if you didn't like this video yet, please hit the like button right now before you leave, because we are less than 300 likes to reach 2,000 of likes. And of course, subscribe and join us live every day at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. For now, go watch our next educational video on how to simplify your tradings. And happy Monte Cristo Day, everyone.
Monte Cristo. I hope that's for lunch.
Yeah.
Nice little, get some cheese in there. You got the corned beef. You got everything like that. I'm a fan of Monte Cristos. You, Neil?
I'm going to guess we're not that lucky today. Probably going to be chicken or salmon, but yes, I am a fan. It would be nice to have one, obviously, today.
Hopefully it's BC salmon, so a shout out to our friends from the West Coast again.
We could only be so lucky if that were the case. Valeria mentioned it, and because I like showing my ugly mug in here, I think we did the Trader Journeys that we released, and I think those were all fantastic, and honestly, they're so much fun to watch if you haven't. Today's a little bit different, going back to the educational point we're releasing on our Market Wisdom channel. It's about simplifying your trading, and I think I mentioned that Brendan was literally giving this advice to a trader on the floor here yesterday to simplify your strategy if you want to make it more efficient. We can all overthink things at times. I'm definitely guilty of that from time to time myself. So check that video out. Valeria has already dropped the link for you to be able to see. It's been an unbelievable show. We already gave the thanks to both Daniel and Joshua Jackson from Liquid Media for coming on here, but I just want to go ahead and say Brendan doing a fantastic job with the interviews. I think we're pretty blessed to have him join the team, be able to trade and do what he does is fantastic for us, and we're blessed. And as I got to go down the line here for you guys, for Valeria, for my main man Sean Katina, for Brendan Wickens, I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Trader TV Live. See you tomorrow, guys.